We come to this place for magic. We listen to the Brown Boy Wonders podcast to laugh, to cry, to care. Because we need that. All of us. That indescribable feeling we get when we click the play button and we go somewhere we've never been before. Not just entertained, but somehow reborn together. Having dazzling guests on this great audio platform. Sound that I can feel. Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Our heroes feel like the best parts of us, and stories feel perfect and powerful. Because here they are. Brown Boy Wonders Podcast. We make podcasting better.
Welcome to the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. We are now in the new era of Detective Comics, or DC, with James Gunn's vision of the DCU. We also have the upcoming projects of the Elseworld projects like Joker 2 and Batman 2, so we're in a good spot. But before we crack into the new era, let's go back and tier list all the previous DC projects. And yes, I am including DC EU. But let me bring in my guest here. You better know him as Hal Jordan. It's Anthony. Anthony, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing really good. As a Hal Jordan fan, we only have nothing but ups in our lives, so I'm happy to be here.
Yes, sir. My next guest here, he's known as Oliver Queen. It's Daniel. Daniel, how you doing, man?
I don't know why I'm Oliver Queen, but I'm great, doing great.
Not bad. It's not a bad one.
No, it's fine. I'm rich, and all I have to do is survive on an island for a while. So, like, honestly, I'm in.
You don't have a movie.
True.
You have a show.
We're not talking about shows.
That's true. My last
Not
guest
yet.
here.
Next time, baby.
Next time.
Oh, there we go. My last guest here, he's better known as Billy Batson. It's Skyler. Skyler, how you doing, man?
Okay. I'm good. I'm a child, and I want to be a man.
Yes, sir. But before we tier list these movies here, I do have a quick question for you guys. Which movie will make more money in the box office? James Gunn's Superman or the Batman 2?
The Batman probably. I'm not gonna say that Superman won't do well, but Batman.
Batman's definitely a safer bet. I mean, the Batman in terms of a character has made multiple films that have crossed $1 billion. I don't think Superman has ever crossed $1 billion. So who knows? Maybe a brand new film for a brand new age will be exactly what the Man of Steel needs. But I think it's a safer bet to bet on the Batman Part 2.
Yeah, I do agree. Batman's still more popular than Superman, but you never know. I think once James Gunn pulls out that trailer for Superman, I think it will win us.
I wonder which one they'll market more. Because
both.
Maybe
they
people
need
will
money.
show up to they'll market both of them for sure. But I wonder if people will show up to the Superman one if they like really, really push it.
Well, they're starting a new universe, so they have to at least show something. The Batman, it's a highly anticipated sequel, and I think just about everyone who saw the first one is already seated for the next one.
Right.
But the Superman, formerly Legacy, now it's just Superman. Like you got to get people back on board for another universe, and like I'm on board because I like Superman. I don't know if I bought my ticket, the full trip ticket yet. I don't know, man.
Right. Yeah. Well, James Gunn has already called it the Summer of Superman for next year. So I assume that they're going to give it a very big push. I think we're going to be trying to replicate that Superman mania that we've seen many times with Batman over the years. I don't know if it'll work. I'd like to hope it will, but I'm going to assume that that's what they're going to try. I think they're going to try really hard because they kind of have to. Like Daniel said, they're going to have to do something, and I think they're going to.
I'm gonna say that Superman will make more money just because everyone said the other one.
Okay, well let's just hope.
Someone here will be right.
Let's hope that the summer of Superman doesn't turn into the year of Luigi.
You're Luigi. We all love Luigi, though. You know what I mean? Who couldn't possibly?
Not money-paying customers, apparently.
Think about how
Nintendo's
great it went
least
for
profitable
him.
year.
Oh my god, it was awful.
All right. Well, let's get into these movies here. But so we're gonna start from DC imprints. We're gonna skim through these a little bit. So I'm gonna give you is it a yay or a nay? So from Vertigo, the 2006 V for Vendetta.
Yay.
Yay.
Nay.
What?
Wow.
I don't know. I saw it as a kid, and I don't think I liked it, and I haven't watched it since.
12-year-old Daniel says,
Yeah,
nay.
I was like, "What's up with the mask? Why is he trying to tear down Wall Street or whatever?" I'm assuming that that the real world events were a sequel to V for Vendetta, the movie.
Now you're a man who's been jaded by the system of capitalism, so you would like it now because it hates what you hate.
Maybe.
All right. The 2007 Stardust.
Yay! I like this one.
Yay, same.
Yeah, I like Stardust enough. I say it's fun.
It might be my favorite Matthew Vaughn movie. Being
Technically,
said
it's fine, yeah.
that I dislike most Matthew Vaughn movies.
Hmm. Also, yay! I saw this on my first date ever, and it was a
Ooh.
good date.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
I also have not thought about this movie since, though. So
Oh, well.
Oh, good memories. The 2010 The Losers.
Yay! I haven't seen this one for a long time, but it was a fun, mostly ensemble movie. There's some good people in it. It's all right. Yay!
I have not seen it, so I cannot say yay or nay. I'll say mid.
Am I the only one that's seen The Losers?
I've
I
seen
guess so.
Losers. I'm also giving it a yay. I think it's funny. I don't think it really. It doesn't like. It's very much a weird movie for this list. Like I don't think. I guess all of these imprint ones are. Like it doesn't feel like a comic book movie on any level, but it is just a fun movie. So
It's crazy because it came out at a time where like Idris Elba wasn't a star yet.
yeah.
So you're just like, hey, it's that guy from some other stuff in The Office. And then like Idris Elba was less of a star when this movie came out than Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Not to say Jeffrey Dean Morgan's a small star, but like Idris Elba's like huge.
Right.
He's in
right.
Cyberpunk for God's sake.
He's Knuckles.
Oh yeah,
Right.
that too.
All right. In the 2019 The Kitchen. I'm gonna say nay.
Never
I
even
don't know.
heard of this.
I have no idea what this is.
It has Melissa McCarthy. It has Tiffany Haddish. It has another
Oh,
girl.
Okay.
I'll say nay.
Well, that's mighty sexist of you, Abrar.
No. It's okay, but it's not a great movie. So a nay.
No, I've never heard of it.
I abstain.
I will not pass judgment.
Abstain. Okay. All right. That was from Vertigo. Now Paradox Press, the 2002 Road to Perdition, the Tom Hanks movie.
I had heard of this one. I've never seen this one. I was shocked to find out it was a comic book or whatever. Again, haven't seen it. Will not say anything.
I've seen half of it. I guess yay.
Half of it.
Yeah, I saw on TV. Half of
Oh.
it. Yeah.
So you give it yay just because Tom Hanks is in it?
Of course, dude. He's my Woody.
He's America's dad.
Ooh.
So
All right.
What did you say about your Woody? Huh?
Wild Woody. Go on. Next one.
All right. Next one. The 2005 A History of Violence.
Yay.
I've actually never seen this one either.
It's a good movie. It's a really good movie.
I haven't seen either, but okay, it's a yay. Now we're into Windstorm. The 2003 The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Nay.
I think you had it right the first time.
I watched
This movie
this
just
movie as
came
a
out,
kid.
right? It stars Henry Cavill and Alan Richardson. This
Oh
is
no
the
no no
movie
no
in
no.
theaters?
It has no. It's with Mr. James Bond.
Barney's
Oh.
joking. No, I watched this movie as a kid, and kids are stupid. So it's like, hey, I like the Phantom Menace. I like this too. And then I grew up, and I didn't like either. So
Okay.
Huh.
All right.
A movie famously so bad it made Sean Connery stop. Just stop.
Yeah, that's kind of sad. And that was 2003. He can still make a lot more movies after that.
I think he did the Dragon one after that, right?
I think so.
All right.
I'm also saying nay for pretty much all the same reasons. This movie weirdly I remember better than a lot of the other ones on this list, but not for good reasons.
I'll say yay because it was when I was watching when I was a kid and watching it. I thought the guy with the mask, the Phantasm. I thought he was a lot of fun. So I was like, this is a cool movie.
All right. Good as any reason we could possibly give.
All right, the next one is the 2010. Hopefully, there's a lot of Red fans out there. Red.
Nope.
No, nay.
I have no idea what either. Honestly, no. I have no context for either of the Red movies.
Yeah. Nay for me. The 2013. Hopefully, there's a lot of Red 2 fans out there. Red 2.
All right, so past movies on this list that I haven't seen, I did not pass judgment on, but I haven't seen Red 2, but because I did see Red 1, I'm going to say nay.
Yeah, nay same.
All right.
All right. Now we're in the good stuff.
The
Good
real,
stuff
the main event.
here. The main event. Yeah, sure. Main event.
Long
Here.
ass main
So
event.
The time to talk is over.
The DC live action films. So we're going to start with the 1951.
These aren't all live action.
That's true. Okay, the DC movies that were on in theaters. I'll say that.
There you go.
What about this one? But the 1951 Superman and the Mole Man.
I watched this today for the first time because I didn't know it existed before. It is very, very 50s. Doesn't really do a lot, but it's kind of fun. I really like the woman who played Lois Lane. I don't know her name, but she did a great job. I don't know. I would give it like a middling grade, I guess.
This might spoil Abrar's review, but I had not seen this, and in fact, I still have not seen this because Abrar was like, "All right, we got to watch this one," and then I said, "Abrar, how was it?" He said, "I fell asleep," so I didn't even try. I was like,
Twice.
Oh,
yeah.
How long is it?
It's really short. It's like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
You fell asleep twice in 50 minutes. What time were you trying to watch it?
Like 2 a.m.
Okay.
Well, that'll do it.
That's a little unfair.
That's true.
It's very much not like an exciting movie either. Like as far as a Superman movie goes, it's not like I'm gonna fight all these guys. Like the whole thing is that the Mole Men are not really villains. They just like come up into the surface world and are like, "What's going on up here?" And everyone else hates them, and then Superman has to be like a mediator between the two and send them back. Like it's very much not an action movie, and very little happens. So I don't know. It's not like a great movie.
I mean, it did showcase for Superman's character. Like you said,
Yes.
It's like you had this idea of like, oh, Superman punches a bunch of like deformed people who live underground. It's like, no, it's not that. It's Superman protecting people that are different.
They just look like children with bad hair. Like that's what the Mole Men look like.
Yeah.
Not my Superman. He would have flung those fuckers into space. No, I'm just kidding, obviously.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's got a good cast. It's got a good sort of original Superman flavor. But like, if you're not in the neighborhood for old school like shoestring movies, that are like, you have to be in that mindset. You have to be aware of what you're watching. If you don't want to see a guy who it's like when he flies, he has to jump off a little luchador trampoline, and then doesn't really fly. Like, yeah, I just ain't for you. But if you like old school classic crap, then yeah.
Well, it passes the bar of the really old Batman movies where this one at least isn't wildly racist as far as I could tell.
It's a little bit after,
Not like the Batman serials in the 40s.
Yeah, the one where the villain was a white guy pretending to be a Japanese guy, Chinese guy.
Yeah. So what are you giving it, like a D?
Oh, yeah, no, I'd give it like a C+. Like I think it's really good for what it is, but it's a product of its time, and I don't know. I wouldn't watch it again or like recommend it to people, but I think it does a good job for what it's trying to do.
All right.
Back then, it was cool just to see pictures move.
That's true. That is true.
That's the 50s, but all right.
All right, so the Superman and the Mole Man is a C+. So now let's get into the 1966 fun, cool Batman.
I don't. What are you guys' opinion on like campy Batman? Because obviously Batman could be anything. Like Batman has been so many things over the years. But what do you guys think of like Adam West '60s Batman?
I like it. It's not. It wouldn't. It's like. It's not my version of Batman. Like it's not the one that I would choose to write. But it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. I'm totally fine with different takes on characters as long as those takes are like, I don't know, like they're well thought out and they're done for a reason. So like campy Batman for me works because back in that time they were making it very much like for children. They wanted it to be this thing that they could, market to the family and sell a bunch of toys. And that makes sense to me. I understand them trying to camp it up for that. Yeah. Whereas like the Snyder take on it where he's just like a psychopath who kills people. It's like that could be interesting if you made a point out of it, but no one ever brings it up in universe. Like you know what I mean? Like it's never, he just does it to do it. And it's not like, I don't know. Different takes for me have to be done for a reason. This one I understand. Mm-hmm. So I guess I'm more happy with it.
Yeah, I think just because of what Batman's been for so long in our time, looking back at campy Batman or sillier Batman is deemed stupid, but like nobody who's actually sat down and watched this movie thinks that this Batman is trying to be anything other than fun.
Oh yeah, it's super fun. I mean, the bomb scene alone is just like one of the most iconic bits of comedy ever. Going from nuns to a baby in a carriage to like ducklings. Like it is just, when I saw that as a kid for the first time, because growing up with like the '90s and films and whatnot, and then seeing that on TV, I was like, oh my god, like this is incredible. As a kid, you like watch stuff like Three Stooges and Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry. To see almost like a live action to take on something that's so over the top and silly, I accepted it. And so I do have a very, very much a fondness for this type of Batman, just because it's so, I don't know, it's just so fun and charming, and he always wins at the end of the day. And what weighs 4 ounces and is dangerous and sits in a tree, a sparrow with a machine gun. It's like they knew what they were doing.
Dumb. It's so dumb, but like it's fun.
My personal favorite bit is the poor dolphin who sacrificed his life by diving in front of the torpedo to save because he knew it was Batman.
Yeah, because everyone loves Batman. They mourn him. It's good.
Plus, like we're making a movie based on the television show Batman '60s. What villain are we going to use? Fucking all of them.
All of them.
Bring in all of the good guys, all the good villains. It's great. It's fun.
I think just while we were saying our favorite bits from the movie, I watched this also for the first time today. I had not seen it before. I've watched like episodes of the show, but I've never the movie. Mm-hmm. My favorite bit was when they dehydrated the guys, and then Penguin and Catwoman are like pouring him into a vial, and Penguin's just like, remember, each one of them had parents. And I'm like, why? And it's like spilling off the site, like the little thing on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. The green screen was great.
On them running and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, it even like the stuff that maybe for the time, was whatever it was. Like it works today. It just the more time passes, the campier and sillier it gets, and I think it works in its favor.
Yeah, we needed this version of Batman before we get the one we know now. I'm feeling like I want to say
A. I was thinking B.
I was also thinking B.
Well, let's give it a B plus then.
B plus.
To meet in the middle.
B for Batman.
Plus for Batman.
Oh yeah. Yes. The 1978 Superman.
Oh.
I mean, it's the template, right?
Yeah.
Like it is truly what every other superhero film will go on to try to be. Whether that's just the concept of the origin story, or if it's the way that the film is constructed in its cast, sort of creating like an unknown as the star and surrounding them with, icons of their time. The special effects for the time are amazing. The score, like, I don't know. It's kind of weird for us to, it's Superman, the original Superman. It's kind of hard to talk about it that hasn't been said before, but I mean, that speaks for itself, right? It's Superman.
Yeah, I mean, So I love this movie. I don't think it's my favorite of this like series of them. I mean, we'll get to it in a second, but yeah, I mean, it's a classic. It's really good. I love. This is sort of because it is more campy than like modern Superman, obviously, but it doesn't go as far as Batman 66.
Right.
Sure. It does modernize it for the time. Like in the movie, there's like a joke about a phone booth. Like even at the time, Superman concepts were outdated, which is weird to think about now.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like this movie. I think it's a lot of fun.
It's hard to top Christopher Reeves.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the new Superman we have now. Hopefully, he can top it, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's hard to have that kind of conversation.
don't know if it's fair to expect anybody to top, past incarnations. You just hope that the next person to play the character brings something good to the table.
Yeah,
sure.
So, and I'm sure this guy could do it. Superman. I'm stuck. I mean, it's obviously high somewhere. Either just a straight up S for Superman, or like an A+. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the A category for sure. I don't. There's movies on this list that I think are better, but I think that this is probably like maybe one of the better Superman movies for sure. I don't know. It's hard to say for sure. It does have my favorite. It's such a stupid bit, but it has my favorite bit from a Superman movie, which is the just like. You've got me. Who's got you?
And that lady beats her child.
Oh, that's good.
He had it.
That's always a good part. Yeah, I mean, I've said before that I don't know if we've genuinely had like an actually good Superman movie since this film. There's been a lot of attempts, and I think Superman 2 and even Superman 3 to an extent, and I like things about Returns, Man of Steel. I think they've all have elements, but in terms of the full package, in terms of it being like a genuine moment in cinematic history and respecting the character and entertaining audiences, I think Superman 1978 is the one and only time it really captures all of the elements in a way. So, I mean, I would say S, but like an A+. I think it's, we're allowed to have flaws. Not everyone has to love Otis. I love Otis, but not everyone has to love that stuff. This version of Lex is a bit goofier than we're all used to now. It depends, I guess. But for me, I don't have any of those opinions. I have good opinions. I think that this movie is great.
I like Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor.
I love Otis.
They're bringing him back. He got cast for the new one.
He did.
Oh. That's good. Well, I guess we'll taking an A+ for Superman.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Superman an A+. Man, people were eating good. 1977 Star Wars, and then 78 Superman.
They didn't know. They didn't know though.
That's true. 1980 Superman 2.
So is this your favorite, Daniel? Superman 2?
Because I'm looking at my Letterboxd and it is ranked my favorite on there, but I don't know if I still agree with that.
I know what his favorite is.
Yeah, I don't consider that. Okay, I mean we'll get there. Don't blow up my spot yet because I'm gonna get in trouble for it.
It's your party. God. You can cry if you want to.
What the hell? All right.
But yeah, I have this one higher than the original Superman. I don't think I agree with that. I think I put it like right below it because I do really like this one. But it's this one for me. The goofiness goes to a place where it's just like it doesn't work for me as much anymore. Like that scene where is it all three of them or is it just who's standing down? That's how I call him. I don't remember his name. Where he's standing in the city. Yeah, where he's standing in the city just like blowing and there's everyone's flying away. I'm like, all right, that's a bit much for me.
The people falling and the mannequins like going back and that's the end of this suit. Yeah.
Well, that's mainly because this movie has two directors. It's Richard Donner who did the first one and Richard Lester who would go on to do Superman 3. And I think at this point it's pretty easy to attribute all the goofy stuff to the Richard Lester because when you get to Superman 3 you kind of see like, oh, okay, here's some of the goofier elements. There is a director's cut of Superman 2. I actually prefer the theatrical one. Call me crazy. I don't prefer the Donner cut. I actually like the sort of Frankenstein monster of Superman 2. I think it goes wilder in places, but it doesn't always pay off. I think because of this movie, General Zod is like a household name. You know, like they use them in all the TV shows and movies that get adapted past this point. Like Kneel Before Zod is such a common thing now to the point where if it's referenced, you kind of roll your eyes because you're like, I get it, yeah. But it started here, so I think there's a lot of good iconography still within the Superman franchise at this point, but I don't think it's as strong as, say, the first one with what it does. But it's still fun. It's still wacky. It's still Superman. But, you know.
I've also seen both the theatrical and the Donner cut. They both have merit in their own right. Like the Donner cut does have stuff that I like. But I don't think, in my opinion, one really outweighs the other. They about hit the same.
Okay.
Plus, like the Donner cut didn't come out till like what was it, in the 2000s? It was like a long
years
time
later.
after.
Yeah, which I guess gives sort of like credibility to people that if you ask for a cut of something, never give up hope. I say give up hope, but like things can happen. You never know. Unfortunately, there's proof in the pudding.
Lord. But either way, I think years ago, as a younger man, I would have said Superman 2 was better than the first one. I don't think that now. So if we gave the first one an A+, I'm probably at like a B+? Maybe an A-. I don't know.
I'd agree with the B+.
Right. Well, I don't remember Superman 2, but I do remember the first one. But if you guys say B+,
this is your show.
I don't remember Superman 2. Which one was that?
I got it. Well, B+ for Superman 2 then. All right. The next one is the 1982 Swamp Thing.
I have never seen this.
I have not either.
No, I haven't seen Swamp Thing.
Right.
No one has seen it. Put it in the trash.
In the trash. In the trash.
Spoilers for any future Swamp Thing content. I have not seen anything Swamp Thing related.
There's surprising a lot of Swamp Thing out there.
I know, right?
Wild.
In our Marvel tier list, where did we put Man Thing? Put this in the same spot.
Wow. Let me double check. Give me one moment.
Oh, but I like Swamp Thing more than Man
panel
Thing.
has a clear bias against swamp monsters, and they're gonna come for us.
For all the listeners know, we are swamp monsters, so that's not even fair to say.
That's true. They actually don't know that is a possibility. Yeah. I like Swamp Thing in the Robot Chicken DC Comics special, if anyone remembers that. I remember he was really funny in those, so if we could rank that, we would, but we can't. So,
yeah,
sorry.
Shame.
We gave Man Thing an F.
Wow. All right, well, let's give this one an F+ because we like Swamp Thing better.
All right,
that's true.
Good to me. All right, Swamp Thing is an F+. Now the 1983. Wow, that makes sense. 83. Superman 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's no reason to hate this movie.
Okay.
Is there a reason to
That's a good
love
start.
this movie?
If you're a fan of Richard Pryor, I guess.
Yeah. In a big cowboy hat.
I mean, okay, well, that's the thing. This is a funnier Superman movie. Once again, mentioning that Richard Lester connection. So there's a lot more goofs. It's very much a Richard Pryor vehicle. He loved Superman, the movie. So it's funny that they kind of put him in a movie and made it about him. Yeah, this is a weird one, right? Like, we have a guy that's basically Lex Luthor, and he could have been another DC villain, right? Like, he could have been like Maxwell Lord or any of the other billionaires out there. Who cares, right? But he's just his own guy, and like they almost have red kryptonite, but it's not. It's like kryptonite replaced with a tar because they couldn't figure out the formula. It's a weird one. There's an evil Superman. There's a lot of weird stuff in it, and there's things I like, but I don't know if it holds any lasting impression on me other than like the goofier elements.
Yeah, there's definitely. I agree completely. I think that there's there's parts of this movie I really like. I think Annette O'Toole does a really good job in this movie. It's also I think the only one of these she's in. I really enjoy her. I think the Gus character is funny for what it's worth. I don't know how well he fits into this series, but he's enjoyable.
Prior, yeah.
Like I enjoy most of the bits where he's on screen. I like when he's like getting that security guard drunk and stuff. Like it's all good.
Going
not
back
so
to
much
what
when
Anthony
he skates off the side of the building. That's
come on.
That's wild.
That's top 3 moments of the film.
I mean, that one goes so far past that I think I do find it funny because you're right. Like, what the hell was that? It's so bonkers that that's in a movie.
Yeah.
Going back to what Anthony was saying about like things that are kind of Superman, but then just not. Like they decided to have a big supercomputer bad guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't Brainiac,
and it could have been Brainiac. They could have done something like. It doesn't even have to be like comic book accurate or whatever. They could have just said, "We made a supercomputer. It's called Brainiac," and people would have been like, "Okay."
Yeah.
But they
100%
didn't.
agree.
They didn't. Instead, this lady gets sucked into a computer and she becomes a robot.
It's terrifying too. It's weirdly scary.
Truly scary.
I wanted Superman to have another suit so he can give it to Richard Pryor, so they could be both super buddies.
Was he just gonna like throw him and hope that he flew, or what?
No, I mean,
he would have actually flown.
yeah, that's
You saw him go off that building, right?
You're probably right. And that's a hint. He is superhuman.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so much about this film where it's like you could tell that like we're already at the third film and we're running out of steam. Like we've reached a point where we've abandoned all the comic book stuff and now we're relying on slapstick and comedians at the time. I guess I do like the evil Superman stuff. I like that Superman as an evil person isn't like evil. He's just kind of a dick.
He's just flipping peanuts at that bar.
He's like fixing the Leaning Tower of Pisa and like blowing out the Olympic torch. Like that's funny. I like that Superman is when he's evil is funny. He's not like a super like dictator type. Like that's obviously the modern thing to do. It's like if Superman was evil, he'd be like a powerful god type character. And it's like, no, I kind of like goofy Silver Age Superman who just makes problems for people and gets away with it. He does potentially sleep with a woman. And then when he sees her lady, he goes, "Lady, I don't know you." Ooh. So that's a bit rough. But I mean, hey, what are you going to do? He's under the influence.
Yeah. It's probably fair to say that the evil Superman versus Clark fight is the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
In the junkyard. So
I would agree with that.
Got that going for it. I think if you're a fan of Office Space, you have to watch this movie at least once.
Technically speaking, yes, that is very, very true. It's required viewing.
I guess we're feeling like a B.
Oh
yeah,
no.
Put it at least like half a tier underneath 2 at least.
What did we give earlier? That was like a C+. Did we give anything a C+?
I think Mole Man was a C+.
Mole Man.
Well, I'll put it there then. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that works for me.
Every film got lowered an entire grade. That's what the Superman franchise became.
Oh, and it's not going to stop.
Nope.
Right.
This last one might drop too.
Superman 3 is a C+. Now the 1984 Supergirl.
Oh, man. This movie's bad.
The visual effects are nice. Like, they really nailed her flying about, but that's where the praising starts and it ends for me.
I like her. What's her name? What's
Helen Slater?
Yeah, there you go.
Helen.
I like her as this, 1980s version of Supergirl. I think she's charming enough, but like if you try to follow anything happening in this movie, you're gonna get a headache and just turn it off because it is like aggravatingly nonsensical what's happening.
She literally fights an invisible monster at one point because they can't afford to make one. Like that's the kind of movie that we're dealing with, unfortunately. And do what you'd have, but yeah.
When she starts fighting an invisible monster, I was like, "Where's Roger Corman? Did he speak on set and say, just fight something invisible? No one will know."
I mean, we'll get a canon Superman film next, so we're getting close to that territory.
True.
I do like the poster of Supergirl. She's flying over the Statue of Liberty.
Hey,
That's
that
pretty cool.
poster is all that the Flash movie needs you to know. It's like there was a Supergirl,
True.
and we just
Yeah.
stick her in here.
She looks great. She acts great. It's just the movie that she's in is just not worth watching.
Terrible.
I guess we're feeling like a D.
Man, I own this movie on Blu-ray.
Oh man, why?
Shut up.
He has
All
to.
right.
It's his mummy's curse.
The sickness.
All right, I guess an F then it is then.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Mhm.
Sure.
All right, Supergirl is an F. The 1987. I capitalized the U, so I apologize for that. The Superman 4.
You didn't
The
have
Quest-
to say that. The
I
listeners
know,
wouldn't
no one
know.
knows. I know, no one knows. My fault. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Also pretty bad. Yeah.
Bad.
It's a different kind of bad, though. I sometimes, not always, but sometimes Superman 4 comes around for just how goofy it is. 'Cause we just mentioned that this was a canon film.
Yeah.
So it's a very different kind of budget movie. It's very much lower than the previous movies. We are far and away from Superman 1978. This is a movie that reuses shots of Superman flying whenever it can.
Oh yeah.
And it's unfortunate because obviously Christopher Reeve wanted to like make this movie mean something. It was like something that he wanted to kind of like make sure that, oh, if we're gonna do another one, let's make it worthwhile. And that's why it has this whole message of like the Cold War and the arms races and that kind of idea. I mean, the enemy is a nuclear man, which kind of gives you the idea of what the fears were during the 80s. And ultimately, it's just not a very good film whatsoever. But he does fight Nuclear Man, so you got to give it credit for that. Because what other film has that? None that I'm aware of.
If I had to pick a part of this movie that I legitimately like, it is when he's trying to double date as both Clark and Superman at the same time.
It's goofy, yeah.
I think that's like classic Chris Reeve bumbling Clark Kent. Like he like bumps into a cart and gets taken away, and Lois is like, "Oh, Clark." It's great. And then lest we forget John Cryer as Lenny Luthor.
Right, who would later graduate to full Lex status eventually. So
Better or worse, iconic performance, I guess.
the dude of steel. You're gonna get it. Yeah, I mean he's iconic. You're right.
That's all I have to say about this movie. It's not very good though.
No,
Is it
I think
better
the
than-
only part of this movie that I enjoyed at all was the opening, where he was like, "Nukes are bad. I'm gonna throw them into the sun," and I was like, "All right,
Yeah, big
shit,
net.
let's go."
End
That
of
was
movie.
fun.
He just does it. The end. All right. Good job, Superman.
Is this the worst Superman movie?
Yeah, probably.
Not including Supergirl.
Oh yeah, I didn't see Supergirl.
Not including Supergirl, which technically is not a Superman movie. Yeah, this one's probably the worst.
So what Abrar asked then. Yeah, okay.
All right. So I'm guessing an F then.
Yeah.
I'd put it down
Yeah.
there.
F plus.
Yeah, this put it right next to Swamp Thing.
Thing.
All right. Well, Superman 4, Quest for Peace is an F plus, and we just said the 1989, The Return of the Swamp Thing. Ooh, it's also an F.
Put that one at F, but not F plus because you only get that leniency once.
That's true.
True.
All right. All right. In the same year. Oh wow, they had a competition here, but it's the
Uh-oh.
1989. Some people say
The
1989 Batman.
I like it.
Yeah, it's
I love it.
Good.
Yeah, I really like this one. It's I don't know, it's not like amazing or anything. I think that they are still sort of trying to figure out what they want to do with this character at this point. I think they do better with later ones, if that makes sense. But this one really sets the tone for what these movies are. There's parts of it that I think are very stupid, and then there's parts of it that I think capture who Batman is better than a lot of movies. Like, it's such a small scene, but the bit where he's like, I don't even remember if it's the same scene. I haven't seen this movie in a while. But there's two bits where he's like talking to someone. He's like, I don't think I've ever been in this room before. And then they like go. It's him and the reporter, who I don't remember if it's supposed to be Vicky Vale now. Okay,
it is.
Yeah.
And they like they're having dinner by themselves, and they're like a million miles apart. And he's like, this sucks. And then they just go and have dinner in the kitchen with Alfred. And I think that so perfectly captures who I think Bruce Wayne actually is. Where he's like, all this money, like this is nothing to me. Like I'm just a person, and I want to, have these relationships with people that I actually care about.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think that there's a couple of bits in this that are really, really good. I don't think this is the best one of them, but I love it.
I think you get a pretty strong Batman with Keaton. Maybe not everyone's favorite. I mean, probably a lot of people's favorite because people, I don't know, whatever. But
it's one of my favorites.
Pair that with the Nicholson's Joker, and
yeah,
come on, man,
it's a great duo.
Yeah, good.
I think the iconography is truly there. I think culturally, at the time, it's I don't know if we'd be here today without this movie existing. The Batmania of '89 is truly remarkable. I think so much of this movie works. That being said, as a Batman fan, I don't know if I necessarily like this as a Batman movie. We don't get a whole lot about Bruce Wayne, and for some people, that's good. Yeah. They'd rather just the enigma of the character is fine. No pun intended for a later film. But there's a lot in here where I don't feel like Bruce Wayne. I know the you want to get nuts is iconic, but like to me, that's just not the character that I see him as. And we just talked about earlier, Batman can be many things. That's the beauty of the character, and I agree. So I like things about this movie. I like a lot about it. I just don't like it as much as everyone else does, I guess is the point that I'm trying to make here, is that there's just so much about it that isn't a Batman movie in my eyes. It's the ultimate like cultural Batman movie. But if I were to make like a Batman movie myself, it wouldn't be Batman '89. So
that's fair.
Yeah, I don't mean to, but I do hold a little bit of a grudge against it because it is everyone's favorite Batman movie if they're over a certain age, and I'm like, it's not my favorite. Which we'll get to those for here.
You think it's like more like Hollywood Batman in a sense, like not more of a comic?
I mean, yes and no. I guess it's a true like adaptation where it does come from an era where it's like we don't need to do the comics, we don't need to do a 1-to-1. Like we're gonna change the origin here and there. We're gonna kind of mix and match, which I'm totally fine with. Like you're allowed to do that. Like Daniel said earlier, if you have like a purpose and an idea, which they clearly did, combining the sort of 90s or late 80s, which is kind of 90s culture with like gangster movies, like I get what they're going for.
Yeah, I will say I don't really care for this Joker.
What?
It's very much a gangster Joker.
Okay.
Yeah, like he's not bad, and considering where we're going to go with a lot of other live action Jokers, like shit, I'll take him. But it's exactly what Anthony was saying. This isn't the Joker I would write. Absolutely not.
You wouldn't punch a guy with glasses, right? That's what the Joker said.
Are we almost all wearing glasses right now?
Yes.
No, I'm not.
Put them on.
Anyways, you're wearing glasses.
Put on your glasses, or Batman's gonna punch you.
Yeah, Batman's
that's true. That's true. I'm putting on right now.
He did clock the Joker though, so to be fair, they may not stop him.
Not this Batman.
This is if we like what you say, Anthony. Like what we known as Batman, as dark, the modern day Batman. So I'm feeling an A plus.
Yeah, I'm fine with like an A. I don't know if I would say A plus necessarily, but I'm fine with like a low A or a high B. I think.
I'm thinking like a high B, but I'm okay with an A because I realize that my own opinions are not representative of the culture.
I'll give it an A. What about you, Skyler?
A it is then.
All right.
It's your podcast.
All right. The 89 Batman is an A. So now the 1992, the sequel, Batman Returns. Ooh.
Now we're talking. I actually
Yeah.
like Batman Returns a lot more than Batman 89, and I think it's because it's sort of that sort of like horseshoe effect where Batman isn't enough of what I want from Batman. 92 Returns goes so far past that it's like a completely different thing to me. Like it's no longer like masking itself as a Batman movie to where it's just like a freak show movie, with like the circus people and Penguin being a monster and like Catwoman eating a bird. Like it's just not the comics at all. Then I can really enjoy it for that. It's like it leans into it. I think it's a much prettier movie. Like it's so clean looking. That image is just so pretty with like the whites of the snow and everything and Christmas time in Gotham. Like I love it for that. It's a very weird film, and it got Burton fired from Batman. It got Burton fired from Batman Forever, if you want to call it that. So
he is no longer allowed inside a McDonald's.
Yeah, which is true. I'm sure he'd have some sort of snarky remark about that, but you know what? No, I get to be in McDonald's and he doesn't. So, but thanks for the movie. I do like it.
It's funny because as a kid, a lot of my stories are like, as a kid it was different, but as a kid, this was the Batman movie of like the four, the two Burtons and the two Schumachers. This was the one that I didn't like to watch, probably because it's fucking gross.
It is gross.
What's gross about it?
Are you kidding me?
Have you not seen DeVito?
Are you kidding me?
Scene in this movie?
I know you mean. Gotcha.
But as growing up, becoming a teenager, becoming a fucking adult, becoming the disgusting whatever I am now. This is of these four, it's my favorite one. I love Batman Returns. I love it.
Yeah, I agree completely.
That being said, we gave Batman an A. I would still probably keep this one in A, like an A+. Maybe like an A++, but I wouldn't put it in S quite yet.
Yeah.
But I do really like this movie.
I agree 100% with everything you just said.
Yes.
I don't even know if I watched this as a kid. Like somehow I think this one missed me and I didn't watch it until like high school or something. But I think this one is like the exact right level of camp for me, where it's like everything is kind of stupid, but in a way that's fun. Like Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is so great. I really do. Like it's stupid, like the fact that she gets revived by cats after falling like 4 million feet.
Dude,
like,
he pushed her.
The fact that she goes to her own house and tears it up, and she has like this conveniently placed lighting system that says like "hello there" or something, and she breaks it so it says "hell here." Like so dumb, dude. Yeah. So dumb, but it's great. I love it. I think she's great in it. I think Walken's great in it. This for me is like. This is probably my second favorite Batman movie, period.
All right, but what about the guy that plays Walken's son? Dad, go! Save yourself!
That's amazing. Thank God for that man doing a Walken impression.
It's just so much fun.
R.I.P. that guy.
When Penguin dies and he's just like slides down into the water.
He has a little penguin's funeral procession.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
so like great. I think this movie gets brought up when people complain. People like us complain about later incarnations of Batman killing people. They're like, "Oh, fucking Keaton put a bomb down a clown's pants, threw him in the sewer, he dies."
No.
And I need you to understand, what a man once said. I won't say a wise man, but a man once said, "You're living in a fucking dream world." This is that dream world. This is not real life. We're not saying this is the definitive real life big universe version of Batman. This is a Burton cartoon. Yeah. And that's what makes it work. That's why Batman can explode a clown if he wants to.
Yeah, because you have to assume that in a universe as campy as this one, that he could climb back out of there and his pants would just be like on fire.
Yeah, like his face will be all sizzling. Fine.
Yeah. This is the kind of movie where someone would have an anvil drop on their head and they turn into a table.
His beak is turned backwards.
Yeah.
There you go.
Maybe if a couple of clowns crawled out of the sewers with their beak turned backwards, then Tim Burton would still be eating a Big Mac today.
That's a good sentence.
I am Catwoman. Hear me roar.
Okay, but what'd you think of the movie, though?
Oh, we lost him.
Oh no, he's gone.
No, I was doing backflips.
You were doing backflips. Oh,
I guess you didn't hear it.
Okay. Bravo.
Thank you. No, man, this movie is amazing. Very memeable too. Looking like you guys just said it was really nasty to watch. I was like, yeah, I'm thinking when Penguin is with his mouth with all the black blood. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I'll give it an S.
If I'm being honest, as a kid, I didn't like the part where Alfred brought Bruce the cold soup.
It's supposed to be cold. That's iconic.
But
all right, for that we'll bump it down to a B.
One more thing that I really like is I like that the little button to get into the Batcave is in the fish tank because no one's gonna reach in there. True. You're not gonna accidentally? Oh, Bruce, I'm sorry, I accidentally reached in your fish tank. No one's gonna do that. That's genius. A.
I'll give an A as well. All right, so same as Batman 89 is also an A, and also 92, the sequel, Batman Returns, is also an A. All right, now the next one is the 1993 Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm.
I mean, debatably the best Batman movie ever, animated or otherwise. I think that there's a very strong argument to say that this is the definitive Batman origin story, film. It's just great. Everything about it is great. I had the luck of seeing this in theaters last year. I think when they did a bunch of Batman Day releases in theaters. So seeing this on the big screen was quite an experience because it is a wonderful Batman film.
Was it remastered?
Yeah, I think it was the current release, whatever they had done. Because they've done a 4K release last year, did they not?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think they did. Yeah.
It is the perfect Batman movie.
Yeah, I think, these voice performances and this animation and put it on the big screen, I may have personal biases to really love this universe, but I'm definitely leaning towards making this our first S.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
All right. The 1993.
End of conversation.
Yeah. What else do I need to say?
What else can you say?
I really love how they go to the World's Fair. I think that sets a really great tone for what this universe is. It's something that on my personal YouTube channel I've been very slowly and with a bad release schedule that people in my comments have been mad about, releasing my own rewrites of DC movies, basically making my own universe, even though no one really wants another universe right now. And this movie has a lot of weight on sort of the setting of how I'm writing it. I very much love the idea of this is in a modern time period, but the aesthetic is still very much 50s, 60s. People still wear those big suits. People still drive cars that look like, they could have fallen out of World War II. The World's Fair still exists for some reason. I love that. I think that really helps set it apart as a comic book universe, so that when you have more comic booky things happen, you don't get taken out of it by being well, why didn't they just call the police or whatever? Why did they go on TikTok? It's whatever. I love that they set that separation very well. Obviously, all the character work in this is really great. I don't think I've seen anyone use Phantasm as a character outside of this. I don't.
She's in the modern comics at this point. There was the one of the most modern Batman runs written by Tom King. When he had left the Batman book, he had written a Batman Catwoman 12-issue series, and they introduced Andrea Beaumont there. So she's around, but she's very rarely used, and to a degree that I like, because make her one and done and good. Yeah, exactly. She's in a story where she suits that story. You use her anywhere else, and you've kind of, you risk it. So
I agree. I am surprised that they've had that restraint, but I agree.
It's a good origin story. Like you said, the blending of the sort of setting in a period piece, but not defining it as a period piece, I think is really smart. Kind of taking Batman, kind of how 89 does it, but influencing the sort of gangster stuff, but then bringing in the fact that he fights more supernatural criminals with, gimmicks and things. So I think it has all the elements there for a good Batman story. He's got, he fights the police at one point. There's a big brawl out with the Joker. The Joker's in it, but he doesn't overshadow anybody else. Like, I know in this day and age, we're all pretty Jokered out. Like, I'm a Batman fan, so I'll just kind of see whatever comes out, unfortunately. But we've got a lot of Joker, and it becomes a bit much on the senses. So to see a movie where the Joker's in it, but he's not like the guy. It's not 89. It's not the Dark Knight. Like, it just represents the fact that in the world of Batman, the Joker exists, and I think they used him really well.
100%. I love that he's just like hiding out in like a defunct World's Fair thing with like a robot mom.
Yeah.
He's like pretending that they're real. I think that's such a funny bit. S
S for Satman.
Did we lose Abrar again?
He's doing more backflips.
Stop doing backflips.
Oh no, maybe he hurt himself.
Oh, we may have actually lost it. I think he split his groin doing all those
Abrar?
flips.
He's typing. Hold on, give him a second. We're going to have to edit all this out.
No, this stays in. All right, he stopped typing.
Broke his ankle.
Power outage.
What?
Okay. Well, this is the show now.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, man. Due to the storm, my power just went out, but it's back now. Hopefully,
It is
Is it
not
storming?
storming where I am.
Yeah, I don't live far from you.
it's flood
Strong
watch.
winds, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Massive Phantasm. I think it's one of the greatest Batman movies. Interpretation, but I'll give it an S.
All right.
Hell
Yes,
yeah.
it is. All right, so we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be
No, we
right
just
back.
took a quick break.
We just
Well, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
And Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up like Batman?
Because he is Batman, you moron.
All right, we're back. Let's recap what we graded. So the Superman and Mole Man was a C plus, Batman a B plus, Superman A plus, Superman 2 an A plus, Swamp Thing an F plus, Superman 3 a C plus, Supergirl an F, Superman 4 The Quest of Four Piece an F plus, the Return of the Swamp Thing an F, Michael Keaton's Batman an A, Batman Returns an A, and Batman Mask of the Phantasm, Kevin Conroy an S. All right, how you guys are feeling about these grades?
I feel like
Yeah.
you snuck in a couple of pluses where they weren't supposed to be, but I'm not going to fight you on it.
Oh no, I'm reading off the list.
All right.
All right, now the next one is the 1995, where we were all born, I think. Batman Forever.
No, I'm old. I was born in 94.
Damn,
Back in my day, there was a 94.
I don't know about that.
I was born the year Lion King came out, I'm pretty sure.
Well, we have
Buzz.
Toy Story, so suck on that.
This is great. This is great content. Batman Forever. It is the best of this series of films. People will disagree. They've already said that Batman Returns is their favorite of this era, but I'm going to go ahead and retcon that. Just going to go ahead and veto the entire conversation. I think Forever is the perfect entry level Batman movie. Because, like, you're talking about how Batman Returns is too scary. It's got too much goo. It's got too much bleh.
Mhm.
But Forever, it's action packed. It's exciting. It's funny. It's got stuff for the kids. It's got sex for the adults. Like,
Sure.
it is a wonderful sort of ultimate amalgamation of all things Batman, whether it's Silver Age, whether it's modern, whether it's Jim Carrey. Like, it's got it all. It's a perfect catch-all Batman movie, and I'm happy for it every day of my life.
So earlier when I said that Batman Returns was the one I skipped as a kid, Batman Forever was my favorite as a kid,
Ooh.
and I still like it.
My only complaint is the villains.
You don't like Jim Carrey Riddler?
I'm
think
actually
you-
with Abrar on that one.
I
I don't
thought he
think
was
he's
still-
bad.
Yeah, I thought he was just too wacky. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to intimidate, trying to act like the 1966 Batman, but I don't know. I was not feeling it. I guess when I was watching it as a kid, but now I mean I still enjoy it.
This is going to be kind of a spoiler for the next entry in our discussion, but the Schumacher movies I always kind of viewed as a 90s version of, like, Schumacher's 90s version of the 60s Batman.
Yeah.
He brought all that camp up with neon, basically. And
Right.
I think when you look at it that way, it makes you think Batman and Robin isn't so bad, even though it kind of is. But Batman Forever, I think, doesn't go full Batman and Robin yet. You know, I enjoy quite a bit of Batman Forever.
It's the first movie of its kind to tackle the psychology of the character, which is pretty impressive. No Batman film had really delved into like the character of Bruce Wayne until this movie. Everything revolves around the sort of psyche of Batman. Obviously, you have Riddler being this sort of like intellectual type character. You've got Two-Face sort of representing the sort of duality of man. His love interest is a psychiatrist. Dick Grayson representing like the next generation of Bruce Wayne out there. You know, what would happen if he had been there for himself all those years ago? Like, there's so much here that just never had happened in a Batman movie before. So it's kind of incredible. And this one that's so goofy and neon and over the top that there's still like a very emotional and deep core at why people like Batman and who he is as a character.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I think that a lot of the character work that they do is really great, and I think you're 100% on point with the everything about sort of the psychology of it. I just feel for me that the goofiness goes to a level where it distracts from a lot of that. And it's mostly Jim Carrey, honestly, for me. I guess Two-Face also is higher than I would like him to be, but I don't know. I'm not going to be mad at Tommy Lee Jones.
He's very goofy.
I would say that Jim Carrey's performance, yes, it's over the top, and yes, it's Jim Carrey, and yes, we cannot sanction his buffoonery. But I think the Riddler character and his performance is almost like a selling point for me, whereas Tommy Lee Jones, who I really like in other stuff, his Two-Face is just, they're like, do Nicholson's Joker kind of again.
Joker light in a way. Yeah.
Try to do that.
That's definitely true.
I thought they were just acting the same because they were acting like crazy. That's what I thought when I saw the film. Like, because the two villains were just the same person.
They're giggling a lot. Like they're very like cheerful, and they're always like kicking their knees up in the air. And yeah, I can agree with that. I mean, this is the height of Jim Carrey, right? Like, you think about Ace Ventura to Dumb and Dumber and Batman Forever and The Mask. Like, those are all so close to each other. Like, it's crazy to think about how like back to back those films are. So like, yeah, I think if you look at it through a modern lens and you're like, just Jim Carrey is a fucking headache. You know, if you don't like that type of humor, I totally get it. But yeah, I think as someone who did watch Ace Ventura and The Mask a lot as a kid and still has a sort of connection to that, I think it works for me in that way. Yeah. And I mean, you know, I'm going to be sitting here praising. I'm not going to act like it's a perfect film by any means. You know, you're going to see Robin doing ninja laundry, you know, drying off his socks and everything. The only film where we've seen Dick Grayson and his origin story told in a movie, that's kind of crazy, right? That like the and Robin part of this iconic duo that's existed for almost a century at this point, and we only have one movie that shows the death of the Flying Graysons and all that. So that's
actually one of my favorite parts of this movie is the Graysons like trying to fight back and like kind of becoming a groundwork for him becoming a vigilante. I mean, I know obviously Batman is a big part of that, but I really like that. You see that, his family was always good people, so that's why he grew up to be the way that he is. Because they had to age him up, so it's not like Bruce can really raise him from a kid. He's already an adult. He's adopting like a full-grown man. But did you guys know? So in the movie, it's his two parents, and he has a brother in it. And normally, you know, there's no fourth member of the Flying Graysons. It's sort of a three-man group. Do you know why there's another Grayson in there?
Why?
No.
It's just because historically speaking, the people that did the trapeze were never three members. It was usually four. So just for being
Ooh.
accurate, they just threw in another Grayson, and that was it. It's like they created a character just to be like, I mean, technically speaking, that's not realistic. So
Do they ever?
when you're looking at this movie and their CGI statue people around Gotham and the crazy neon skeleton crew, just know that they were very accurate to the circus mentality that exists in Gotham.
Do they ever name the brother, or is it one of those like why am I forgetting the name right now? The Iron Claw. The damn, their last name.
Von Erich.
The Von Erichs. I'm sorry. Is it like a Von Erich situation where like at a certain they like for the act they create new ones that aren't actually Von Erichs? Of course, none of them are actually Von Erichs in that case.
Talking about MJF.
Yes.
His name is Mitch Grayson.
They couldn't even come up with a cool name.
Yeah, well,
it's Mitch.
It's I'm assuming it's taken from the real guy's name.
Yeah, probably.
No, it is. It's Mitch Gaylord is the real guy's name. So
I want you to know. I want all the listeners to know from now on for the rest of time. I will refer to that character as Mitch Von Erich in the movie.
That's fair.
I do want to say that I don't know why they deleted that scene of the big bat. I wish they put it in the movie.
Big bat scene. Release the big bat cut. There's like a long sought after director's cut of this movie that is not going to come out. And there's like a dream sequence with a giant bat. You know how in Batman v Superman there was a big bat, but it was stupid?
Yeah.
It's like that, but imagine it's probably as good as the rest of this movie.
Well, I mean, I know the details of all the Schumacher stuff, but that would take a whole nother podcast to get into the details of what this movie was going to be versus what came out. Because, it's a very... I mean, Joel Schumacher wanted to adapt Year One. Like, that's what he wanted to do. Like, if you look at his filmography and the type of movies he wants, like, that's what he wanted to do. But they hired him because McDonald's didn't like Batman Returns, so he provided a lighter alternative. So, yes, the original Batman Forever is different. And maybe we'll see the Schumacher cut someday. I'm fine with the film we have. I'll happily watch if they ever do release it, but I'm not a hashtag release the cut kind of guy.
Me either. Whoever types that for Snyder, get out of here.
If you're using hashtags, that means you're still using Twitter. That's gross, dude. Get off of that.
So I guess we're feeling Batman Forever. It's maybe an A plus.
I'm good. Like, I think I'm like maybe B, low A. I'm good.
I was thinking like B plus ish.
Okay, you guys were nicer than I thought you were going to be. Yeah, I was not going to allow it to go any lower than a B, so I will take a B plus if possible.
No, I started by saying I like this movie.
Well, I know too.
It's enjoyable for sure.
I just have standards that can't be met when it comes to Batman Forever.
Real quick before we move on, Val Kilmer's good.
Yes.
Oh, he's the best. He's the first person to do Batman has a different voice, so that's cool.
That is true.
No, look the path he set us on.
Ooh. All right, the 1995 Batman Forever is a B plus, and let's get into this one here. The 1997 Batman and Robin.
This is a toy commercial.
Ooh. Yeah. Yes, it was.
Yeah, literally.
So, like, is this movie bad? Yes. Is it also kind of fun in a bad way? Yes.
Yes.
Like, I don't think this is the worst thing in the world. Or maybe because it is the worst thing in the world, it comes back around to being enjoyable. I don't know.
Well, we're also tired of complaining about it at this point. Like, that's one of the oldest of our generation's people bitching about movies, you know? I mean, I don't even have to say back credit card at this point. Like, so what is there?
You'll summon him.
I say it 3 times, he'll come out of my screen. So I've said before that I loved everything about Batman and Robin except the movie. Because the movie itself, because like I said, it is kind of fun, Dad. But then after you watch it for like an hour and a half, you're kind of like, all right, let's wrap this up.
I'm done with
That's exactly what I was going to say is, it starts so bad we're having fun, and then it drags and drags and drags. I think if you watch the first part and then take a nap and then maybe kind of like do some work while the middle's happening, and then you get to the end, well, after another nap, of course, and then you watch the whole end bit, then you had an okay day.
Yeah.
Skyler, do you remember when I invited you guys over to my house to watch Batman and Robin? And I was
I'm insulted that you would think that I would forget that.
Okay.
I'm insulted that I wasn't invited.
It was we were still in high school, I'm pretty sure, and I went over to Abrar's house with Steven, friend of the show, and because Steven had never seen Batman and Robin, because Steven doesn't watch movies.
No.
And Abrar was like, "Oh, we gotta watch this. We gotta watch this." And you could physically see Abrar's enjoyment just kind of like fizzling out as the movie went on. He's just like, "Oh man, this wasn't as fun as I thought it was gonna be."
Literally, man.
Yeah, it's just everything else. Like, if you want to talk about the Batman and Robin Taco Bell cups, I can be here for hours. But yeah, the movie, it's just so much. It's just so everyone who works on it knows it's bad. Joel Schumacher's apologized. George Clooney's given me $1. Like, we know. But do I still have my Batman and Robin comforter from my childhood bed? Yes, it's in the living room right now. Like,
Wow.
it still exists in my heart, even though it is a bad movie. It's not like horrible, but it deserves no redemption. It's just a bad movie that almost killed Batman forever.
I'm gonna say,
you know what I mean?
I'm gonna say like 90% of the Batman toys that I had as a child came from like tie-ins for this movie.
That fits though.
Yeah, if you're born in '95, like I had a bunch of Batman and Robin toys and like the New Adventures toys from the animated series. Like that was my chunk of stuff. Like this Batman and Robin, and then the Sub-Zero movie, which is not on this list because it wasn't theatrical. Like those are the movies that made me a Mr. Freeze fan. Because if I'm 2 and 3 years old around that time, and Mr. Freeze is like, oh, this guy's in everything. He's great.
I'm a huge Arnold fan, so this was big for me.
You are, yeah.
Giving a positive to this movie, it's the one out of the series of 4 where Commissioner Gordon, Pat Hingle, actually does something. He crawls on the ground, he gets up and he flips the big lever and he saves the cops. That's his action scene in the whole
falls in
series.
love. He falls in love with Gorilla Poison Ivy.
And then yeah, that happens later.
As a positive also, I'll say I don't think he's like great, but I think Chris O'Donnell gets a bad rap for these movies. I genuinely think that he's fine in both of these. Like, especially this one, you look at so many of the other people in this movie and you're like, he's definitely top half of people performance-wise in here.
I think you'd be hard-pressed to find like a more perfect 90s Robin, right?
Yeah, very of the era, which is fine, because it is. Like, what are you going to argue with? It's a 90s Robin.
All right, let's talk about the Clooney in the room.
I don't like him. He didn't want to be there, and I didn't want him to be there either.
Now, here's the thing. I've watched a handful of movies with George Clooney in them. And I would say I like George Clooney in a lot of stuff. Anthony, I know you watch which one?
EU. Yeah, I watch EU. That's the show.
Yeah, ER is the one with George Clooney. So yeah, I know you like Clooney.
Yes.
My problem with Clooney in this movie is that he does not play Bruce Wayne. We talked about this in our Batman video.
We talked about this in the Batman suit tier list.
Going in circles. All right, I'll say it really quick. He doesn't play Bruce Wayne. He plays George Clooney. He doesn't play Batman. He plays George Clooney in a Batman suit. All right,
but isn't it George Clooney is Bruce Wayne?
Well, here's the thing. I saw the movie and he wasn't.
Oh, damn.
He's very much Doug Ross. He was filming this movie the same time like he was filming ER. Like, he'd go from set to set during the week and film these two things at the exact same time. So yeah, it's 100% Doug Ross. Real life Clooney is way more like real life Bruce Wayne than anything in this film. I don't know. It's just everyone was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and famously, there's Clooney talking about how he's in this suit. He can't hear anything. He's just trapped in this rubber coffin in a way, and you can hear Schumacher on like the bullhorn being like, "Okay, your parents are dead. You're in agony and action." Like, it's like, oh God, as an actor, you're like, what is happening to me? Like, am I gonna die? But he didn't. So
is this the end of my career and life?
Yeah, it's understandable, and like we've talked about, everyone's been told how much this movie sucks, and all the actors know it, and everybody is aware of it. The guy who played Bane is dead. We all know it's just how life is.
The
Was
movie
he
is
played by
very
a wrestler? The like Bane bodysuit guy?
He was.
Yeah.
Who was it?
Robert Swenson.
Did he have a wrestling name that I would better recognize?
King Kong Bundy.
Not King Kong.
His ring names were Jeep Swenson, Jeep
Okay, so
the
no.
Mercenary, The Final Solution.
Oh,
Ooh, I don't know if I like that one.
Yeah, maybe we're better off without him. Actually,
And then The Ultimate Solution.
Oh.
maybe he was always a villain.
I don't know. Let me see. You keep talking, and I'm going to see where he wrestled.
The movie is very colorful. I do like about that.
How'd you feel about the street racing subplot?
Oh, that was. I did like that.
It walked so that Fast and Furious could run.
You're right.
I don't disagree.
All right, there you go.
I do think it's weird. This is rote category like conversation, but I do think it's weird that Batman and Robin is the second one with Robin in it.
Yeah, right.
Like he's been there for a minute.
Batman and Robin should be the one where Robin is introduced, and Batman Forever should be the fourth one.
Yeah,
man.
Like people have said this before, but
that's
I'm saying it now.
Kind of a real Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and Rise of the Planet of the Apes situation. I always thought those were mixed up.
No,
no, I love apes.
no. Okay, so Planet of the Apes.
No. Different podcast.
Okay. I love monkeys.
More importantly, Swenson wrestled for WCCW in '87 and '88. Blah blah blah. His main feud was with Bruiser Brody. This is written for all our Batman fans. He left. He wrestled for GWF in Texas. Feuded with Ahmed Johnson.
Oh, nice.
And he returned to WCW Uncensored Pay-Per-View in 1996.
Wow.
That's where they called him the Final Solution. That makes a lot of sense that WCW call somebody
specifically in 96, because I think that's around the same time that they were like, here's the Yeti and the Skellington.
Oh, fun fact, here we go. WCW claimed they were unaware that the Final Solution was the name Adolf Hitler gave to his plan to yada yada yada.
Oh, and that's why they changed it to the Ultimate Solution, which
Here's
is
the
much
thing.
better.
Here's the thing, kids at home, don't fucking listen to WCW
Never.
in the 90s. They're lying to you.
They are full
They
of
do.
it.
All right. Batman Robin. The grade is complicated, but what do you guys think?
D?
All right. I know that like the obvious thing, like we talked about, it's the most hated on thing, whatever. It's like the obvious thing to say F. I think it fits more in D.
I agree.
All right.
I'm feeling a D.
D plus?
No.
Just a D?
No. Yeah, no, D.
We're being generous enough.
All right.
I just want to make sure it's higher than Swamp Thing.
Oh, everything will be better than Swamp Thing. Whoa.
Except for the return of Swamp Thing, which was lower.
Yeah, it was.
A movie that we have not seen and do not know anything about.
One day we will. One day.
Okay.
One day. Batman Robin is a D. And the next one, man, it's funny. The 1997 Steel. Shaquille O'Neal's Steel.
All right, what are we supposed to say about this?
Judd Nelson's in it, right?
All right, you found the one thing.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. These next three, I have not seen. Like I know the jokes around them, but I don't know anything about these next three movies.
Oh, okay.
It's Shaq. Shaq wanted to be in movies. His girlfriend's in a wheelchair. Judd Nelson's in the movie. That's it.
It's funny, man. It's a funny movie.
All right. Yeah,
Is it supposed to be?
It'll be really funny when we put it in F.
Oh, it's not enough. It's not enough category.
All right, where would you put it?
G for Gold Bond.
Ooh. No, I'll give it like a D plus.
It's not better than Batman and Robin.
Yeah, come on, man. Know your place.
Oh, you're right. No. Whoa.
No, because Batman and Robin is like at least iconic. Steel is nothing.
I mean, I know it's a meme movie, but I bet
It is.
over half the populace don't even know this exists.
No, Steel is like internet critic entry level point, right? Where it's like, did you know there's a terrible Superman movie with Shaquille O'Neal in it? Like that's what Steel is. It is purely for like internet savvy points from a decade ago. We don't need it anymore.
Can I ask how much of a Superman movie this is? Like, do they mention Superman? Is he in it?
He's got his tattoo. You know how Shaq has a Superman tattoo?
I didn't, but
I
believe you.
Someone, I may be wrong, but I think some kid says like you could be a hero like Superman. I may be making that up, but if so, that's it. That's as far as it would go.
He's taking a
Gotta show
Kazam.
up.
Gotcha.
It does act like an Nickelodeon movie, but more of like a PG-13-ish.
Which
but-
Nickelodeon movie?
Snow Day.
Yeah, Snow Day.
I'm looking at the poster for it, and the tagline is "Heroes don't come any bigger," and Shaquille O'Steal's head is being cut off by the top of the frame.
Well, there you go.
They
That's what
couldn't
you know how
fit him
big it
in
is.
the frame.
All right. Let's give it a D then.
Fine.
Yeah.
All right. Steel is a D. Now we're into the 2000s. 2004's
Oh boy.
Catwoman.
I've never seen Catwoman, and I'm fine with that being my life. I think I've seen enough videos about it. I know what happens in it.
Yeah.
I don't think I need that. So, yeah, I'm with Daniel. I've never seen it.
I've never seen it.
Okay, let's just F and move on, please.
I have seen bits and pieces. It's not great, but
I played the
I-
video game.
You
Does
know,
that
you don't
help?
you don't have to go to bat for Catwoman 2004 Abrar. You don't have to say it's not good, but you could just say it's not good.
Don't go to bat for the cat.
There was a video game?
There's a
It
video
was.
game. It was really bad.
You didn't know
Yeah,
that?
I was surprised.
No.
It was really, really bad.
Wow.
I'll say Halle Berry looked good in the costume.
All right, settle down. This is not that kind of podcast.
That's
Grounded.
true. Let's give it an F.
Mom listens to this, man.
Man, she does not listen to this.
You don't know that.
Not
no,
anymore.
I don't. Let's just give it an F here.
Yes, please.
2004 Catwoman. Now the 2005 Constantine with Keanu Reeves.
Do people try to do like revisionist history on this one? Because I like Constantine. I think it's a pretty okay movie. Like it does its job well enough, but like it's not that great. Like I don't think anyone needs to be like, oh, look at this underrated, gem, Constantine. Like it's
Do they
not
do it
that.
because they love Keanu?
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
reason people would
Yeah.
do it. I don't think it happens a lot, but I think because they're making another one.
Oh,
that's
really?
some-
supposedly,
thing.
yeah.
So I think people are like trying to build hype for that by saying that, oh, you haven't seen Constantine 2005? Well, boy, let me tell you, Shia LaBeouf is in it.
Yeah, he's in it.
No, I don't dislike this movie. I think it's all right.
It's pretty good. It's decent. It's fine.
Yeah, I would give it a C.
See
The
for
only,
Constantine.
the only scene I've seen of this is I think the first one where the demon go in the mirror and then out the window. That's all I
Yeah.
got.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got some crazy effects for 2005, but that's okay.
He's obviously not British, but like I don't
No.
care.
It's a trade-off because it's Keanu.
He still acts like him, kinda. It's fine.
After this movie, I feel like Keanu Reeves' acting chops are low now because if you saw John Wick, one of his dialogue is like, "Let me get a gun."
I need
I'm like,
a lot
what's
of
going
killing.
on?
Okay,
I need
okay.
many. Wake up,
Let-
samurai.
Let me come in here in defense of Keanu as one of Keanu's biggest supporters. All right,
Yeah, I love Keanu. No, I love Keanu too. It's just
Keanu-
what's going on.
Keanu is very much like Arnold Schwarzenegger in the sense that he's not known for his acting prowess, but you cast him in the right role and you can make magic. All right,
That's true.
Sure,
That's what Keanu's always been. That's why Speed is so fucking good.
it is.
Oh.
All right.
Speed's okay.
I don't think I saw Speed either.
Keanu he probably would not have been anyone's actual first choice to play Constantine,
No.
but it happened, and I'm happy it did because this movie's okay.
Pretty good. It's fine. It's watchable. It's a good time. And then you leave.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
C.
Sounds like a C to me. All right. Constantine gets a constant C.
Ooh,
All right, now here we go.
the controversy.
Yes. In the same year.
Everyone, get your brass knuckles ready.
Oh, William Regal.
Hold on, let me pull them out of my tights.
The 2005 Batman Begins.
I'm back and I have opinions.
Okay, let's hear it. What do you not like about this movie?
No, I like this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for me this is I don't have a ton to say. I think it's a really good Batman origin movie. I think that they do a really good job of sort of showing his training and all that. I think that's really interesting. There are a lot of things about it that are very dumb, like I can't kill you, but I don't have to save you. I think that's dumb. I also I'm gonna continue to get in trouble for this for the next like 3 of these. I don't like Christian Bale as Batman. He doesn't do it as bad in this one, but the Batman voice he does is a meme for a reason, and that reason is because it's bad. Like, I just don't think that he does a good job there. He's a pretty good Bruce Wayne, but he's also a type of Bruce Wayne that I don't like. I don't like the super playboy, like, I bought the hotel and we're all gonna swim in the pond or the fountain or whatever it was. Like, I don't know. I don't like this version of Batman. And it's not really his fault so much. The voice is his fault. The rest is not his fault.
He doesn't do the voice in this one though.
No, not in this one. No.
That's why you
I'm
like
just getting my Johns out. Yeah, I do like this one quite a bit. I think it's really nice. I don't know. Where are we at?
I mean, this is my favorite Batman movie, period. I'm not saying it's the best one. I can't say that. I think I already said Master of the Phantasm is the best one.
Yeah.
But in terms of my personal favorite, it's this one. I like that it was the first Batman movie to like take the material seriously. And you could, if you like the camp, I like the camp. I love the goofy villains. Characters like Clayface or whatever wouldn't exist in this world. I understand that, but like the fact that we're able to sort of give Bruce Wayne a story and try to delve into that character more so than the other films had, I really appreciate that. This movie just it looks good. It's got a wonderful score to it. I really like what they did with it. You're right. The voice is my favorite in this one out of the 3. It's the most subdued. If you want to be technical, the voice he does in the Batman Begins game, because all the people from the movie voice themselves in the game, that voice is actually probably the best one because it's even more subdued than this one. Famously, the Batman voice was inspired by Nolan. He kept wanting to push it farther and farther. So, if you want to blame anyone, blame God. But I just like a lot about this. It just feels like a big movie without it being like a big movie. Like, it's still Batman, it's still Gotham, but it does it all in a very interesting way and brings us characters we hadn't seen as much before, like Scarecrow, like Ra's al Ghul. I think that's cool.
I think the League of Shadows stuff in this is my favorite part of the movie. I really like this movie, for the record, just going out there. I really like the League of Shadows. I think I've said before, I don't think Nolan can make a bad movie. So already you're on to a good start, and I think this was a strong foot in the door for his Batman trilogy.
Yeah, it's what we needed in the mid 2000s. It's really that kick in the pants that comic book movies really needed. And it's kind of a shame that studios always learn the wrong lessons, right? Because then every movie had to be a dark and gritty reboot for times and stuff. But like, they're ignoring the historical context of where Batman was as a character and what fans wanted to see. And yeah, it's kind of a shame that we still haven't really escaped that in a sense. But for the time, it was a very important step for Batman. And who knows, like, maybe there's a world where like we just got more movies in that universe. Like, if Nolan hadn't gotten his way, right? Maybe the Brandon Routh Superman would have crossed over with this character, and then who knows what would happen. It's really anyone's guess. But
God,
instead
that's the tightrope we're walking with the Robert Pattinson Batman right now, I think. No matter what they say, that's always a threat.
I mean, yeah, it's money's they always follow the money, right? That's what a company's going to do, whether it's a smart choice or not. They go for that gain when they can, rather than try to think things out. But for here, they needed a Hail Mary. They couldn't figure out Batman, so they gave it to a guy. They said, "Here, take it. We don't know what to do with it," and he did something with it, and that's impressive.
Yeah.
From Batman and Robin to Batman Begins, it's completely on a different level.
Oh, cultural reset.
Literally.
Oh yeah.
And think about at the time so 97 to 05, like at the time people were like, is it a little soon to do another Batman movie? Like that was the thinking then. Like try to think about that now, right? Like,
God.
it's so crazy to me. 8 years, are we really sure we need a Batman movie? It's only been 8 years. Yeah, I kind of wish I could go back to that period, honestly, if I'm, I don't want to be like, be a Kevin Smith about it. Like, be happy you get Ant-Man. We didn't get Ant-Man in my day.
So I guess Spider-Man, like they made Spider-Man 2 to Tom Holland in Civil War, is that the fastest turnaround?
Civil War, I guess technically, yeah. 2 years.
That's wild.
That is strange. I remember not because this movie came out in 2005. I was like, what, 10? I remember the movie was not being it wasn't being buzzed. But right. I saw this in a dollar theater, the last screening. And I'm glad I did.
Weird. That's weird because I saw this movie for the first time in a drive-in.
Wow.
We were not ready for it, like as 10-year-olds. Like when we'll get to its sequel. Like that's when the hype kicked in for the world. But I don't think anyone was ready for Batman Begins. Like it was a bit of a surprise hit in a way.
Well, especially the ending of Batman Begins. You're like, oh, Joker? That's gonna be exciting.
They're also not movies for kids. I think you can take a kid to it. I mean, I'm not saying like, oh, don't let your kids watch this, because obviously kids can watch whatever. Doesn't matter. Right. But like they're not made for children in mind, I think. They're just made to be good movies of the character, I think.
Yeah.
And like, parents just took their kids because it's Batman, but like really what in Batman Begins, other than the character Batman, would a kid watch and be like, oh wow.
Maybe I guess.
Joe Chill getting shot. The guy eating falafel in the rain.
Oh man, it's terrible. Why would he do that?
It's always raining.
It's the peanut bread's all wet. Don't do it.
Yeah, maybe those kids, they see this movie and they grow up to be, Cillian Murphy fans, and that's what filled the seats for Oppenheimer.
That's what happened.
Oh, yeah. All right. Batman Begins. I'm gonna say an S.
I think I'm more A, but I won't fight you that hard on it.
I would have said A+.
They're not fighting. Put it in S tier.
All right, let's do it. I did it. All right, the 2005 Batman Begins. So we had Forever, we had Returns, now Begins. It's an S.
And now Returns again.
So we're
back to Returns.
Yeah, back Returns. Yeah, we are eating good as kids. We had Batman Begins, and now with the next one we had the 2006 Superman Returns with Mr. Ralph.
Kids didn't see this movie. What are you talking about?
Young adults.
I mean, I didn't see this until
that's not true. No one saw this movie.
Yeah, last year, 2 years ago.
This is an interesting one. Just because kind of similar to where it's like, oh, well, we need to make a Batman movie that's kind of new and different. It's like, well, we need a Superman movie because we haven't had one since the 80s. Like, we got to figure out the Superman character. They tried for years to figure out Superman. Everyone knows that in the 90s, they tried to get, in the Nick Cage, Tim Burton, Superman off the ground. There was projects between now and this. And ultimately, you got a Superman movie for a very little people, I would argue. It's trying to be a love letter to the Christopher Reeve sort of Donner film. It's a sequel to that. It was one of the first of its kind. It's not the first, is it? The Halloween films did it first, right? Where it ignores sequels. It's a sequel to Superman 2, not 3 or 4.
Yeah, we ignored that 3 and 4 happened.
Halloween did that a lot.
Yeah, so it's like it goes in that route, that Routh, if you will.
Nice.
If you're interested in sort of the history of canceled people, then I would say this is a very important film, sadly, if you really wanted to get into that.
Yeah, a movie with no director.
But yeah, it's
no lead villain.
It's just Superman standing around for a bit. Yeah, there's Superman doesn't like fight anybody. I think it's the mid 2000s. People wanted to see Superman fight Darkseid or Mongol or Metallo or any of those characters, and instead we got a sort of a mellow sort of drama film about Superman being a neglectful father. And like, I like this movie. I think aesthetically it's interesting. It's a little drab. Okay, I'll say that.
It is a little drab.
But like, it's got things I like about it. I don't hate Superman Returns. I'll watch it, but I'm not a huge fan of it.
I like this one. I like this one a lot, actually.
So this is the one.
This is the one, actually. I actually really, I think this one's a lot of fun. I didn't watch this until like 2 years ago, and I think a lot of the reason why I came into this movie, or why I come out of this movie maybe more high on it than other people, is because you're exactly right when you're talking about the time period of it. Is at the time people are wanting to see this movie and they're wanting to see Superman throw a bunch of punches. I had just been watching the DCU poop the bed for 16 years or whatever of like everyone shooting space lasers, and for me this was really refreshing.
Right. Interesting.
So I think I came to this obviously with a completely different mindset that people at the time would have. I mean, people at the time, if they wanted to see Superman in 2006, you've just had 5 seasons of Smallville, right? So like they're coming from a very different direction than where I was. And I think there's a lot of this movie that I really enjoy. I love the whole thing with like him and the James Marsden like new husband for Lois, and he's like he has this like character moment of being upset about that, but knowing that like, well, she's happy, so I'm just going to let her be happy because he's not going to try and steal the girl back because he's Superman
with human flaws kind of thing. You don't see that a lot.
And I really like that. I like I really like the character of Jimmy Olsen in it. I think he's really funny.
Oh yeah,
eat that burrito.
I think he's really funny in a way. The Lex Luthor being canceled, that's rough. I wish that hadn't happened for a multitude of reasons.
That could happen in an actual movie. Would
that
be
a plot line?
Would people hate that if like it was a whole thing where Lex Luthor's trying to run for president, but he's been canceled on social media? And he just doesn't understand what it means.
That sounds really good for like the Alfred Molina robot chicken Lex Luthor. Yeah. He's just like, why the fuck are they yelling at me? It's like, well, sir, did you read your latest hashtag?
What the fuck is a hashtag?
Yeah, like that would work.
Yeah, I love the part where he's like dying and he's going to the hospital, and Martha Kent can't get into the hospital because she can't be like, that's my son, because she can't like blow up his spot.
Yeah,
I think that's a really, really, really powerful, really well done scene. And I love that it's the second he's out of the hospital, he goes straight back to where everyone assumes he's going to die. Right. Like I think for me, this might be the Superman movie in which he feels the most heroic. And I don't know what the complaints against it were at the time. I wasn't there. I mean, I was, but I wasn't paying attention. I was like playing baseball or something, I guess. I don't know.
I could tell you what the complaint was.
And for me, I think the weirdest thing is that because as soon as I watched this, I texted Skyler and I was like, "That's a really great Superman movie. I think it might be my favorite." And he was, you were positive with me. I think you didn't hate it as much as other people, maybe also, but then I had to also ask you if like, is this actually supposed to be a sequel to these movies? Because I don't understand how this universe works. That's the weirdest thing to me, is that like this is a sequel kind of to 2, but not really. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know what that whole situation is. If that's what people were complaining about, I get it. But I really like this movie a lot.
No, I think people's complaint was it's boring.
It was fair too. But I was looking for boring at this point.
Now, that being said, let me jump in really quick and say I'm very sweet on this movie. I like this movie quite a bit. For basically all the reasons that you've already said, Daniel. I will throw in that it is the only Superman movie with Parker Posey in it, so that's a bonus point.
Okay. And Cal Penn.
And Cal Penn for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, it's got some good stuff. I think one of the downsides is sometimes good, but sometimes bad, is the special effects. It feels like they use a CGI double more than they should. Because like sometimes it makes sense. Like I think the saving the plane scene is great. Like I think that's a really good Superman scene. But there's other stuff where it's like he's really close to the camera. And you're like, I know there's shots of him, of Brandon Routh, like in wires and flying around. Why is this a CGI man? So I think that's just sort of the mid 2000s mentality of like, well, we can do it, so we got to do it. But you know, that's only a partial piece of this movie. But I agree, it's a little boring, but I think it has heart, and I appreciate for that. And you know, it did kind of fuck up Smallville for the years to come because they had to be like, well, there's a Superman movie now, so you have to change all of your stuff. Get rid of that cave shit. It's not an 8. Get that off of there. Lois Lane can't be in your show too much because people will get confused. So, I mean, there's ramifications there.
For sure.
Well, Superman Returns, I'm feeling a low B, so like a B minus.
My eyes see B.
Yeah, I mean, I would say A, but I'm fine with the B. I think that's fair.
All right, B. Superman Returns is a B, and all right, we're about to get into something.
John Peters got his polar bear in this one, right? There's a polar bear in Superman Returns.
Yes.
I think so.
That's his famous story. He's Daniel. He's the guy that wanted the big spider.
Oh, is he?
And
yeah,
he also said he wanted the polar bear.
He goes up there, and I'm pretty sure there's a polar bear, but just like it's not important. It's just like there.
There's a polar bear in Man of Steel as well, so I don't know if that one is involved in it.
Well,
but
we know John Peters did eventually get his polar bear in a Superman movie, although nobody fought and killed it.
Unfortunately, no.
All right. Now we're going to talk about the 2008 The Dark Knight.
This is like the opposite of Batman and Robin, right? Where like people have bashed that movie to the ground. It's hard to talk about. Everyone knows about The Dark Knight. Like, I remember, I'm sure you guys remember, but like being in whatever middle school when The Dark Knight comes out, it's like, you couldn't go 2 minutes without talking about the Joker with somebody. Like, that was just a moment. So like, I really don't know what to say. Yes, it's Christopher Nolan doing Heat, but with Batman characters.
Yes.
It's been said, so I don't know.
I do love the advertisement for The Dark Knight, because remember when they were giving out clues in the streets of like Hollywood and people were wearing like, or had the Joker paint. It was crazy.
Yeah. Great viral marketing.
I was in Wildwood, Missouri at the time. They didn't do that there.
They didn't go to Missouri. The Joker didn't come to Missouri.
He didn't come to Missouri, and I may as well have not had internet. I was an outdoor kid. So.
Did you guys see Melvin, Brother of the Joker?
What?
Yes, I did. Skyler, that's not going to work for anybody. It's not going to fly.
Well, Daniel, go back to Wildwood, Missouri, and tell everyone to watch Melvin, Brother of the Joker.
No, I don't know. I don't want to do that.
He is Melvin, brother of the Joker.
It's safe to just tell people without looking it up first. It's fine.
It is.
Don't look it up right now. Wait until after the show. Don't cut his mic.
Okay. Let me talk about this movie then.
Oh yes.
Shocker! I really like this movie. I think it's great.
What?
Which I have to throw out there first because I also want to say I think this is probably one of the most overrated movies of all time.
Oh, well, brother!
I think it really is.
Well, no. On a technical point, Daniel is correct. I think.
Okay.
It is extremely overhyped, but
it is very good.
That being said, at the end of our discussion here, I'm still going to vote for it to go to S.
Same here.
Well,
so Daniel, go ahead.
Yeah. So this movie really fucks up movies for a while too. Is another thing. It's not this movie's fault specifically. Like, the movie is its own thing, and I'm not going to grade it based on this. But this also set this really shitty trend of like all of these pop culture related movies for years to come. Where like, what if we did the comic book thing that the nerds want to see, but then we made it like grounded in the real world, and we just made it so that nothing felt the way it was supposed to for a long time, for like the next decade. What if we did that? And that was because this movie was so successful, unfortunately. And that really, really sucked. So I hated that. I also,
It changed things.
it changed things in a negative way. But yes,
you can also blame this movie for every movie after it for years to come would have the villain having himself get caught on purpose.
Oh
right. Skyfall, Avengers,
Skyfall, the Avengers.
Seven.
What?
Well, that's a superhero, but yeah.
It also came out way before.
Hang on,
yeah.
what year did 7 come out?
That's like 90s. Not bad.
Are you saying the Dark Knight had a ripple effect in time?
Oh my god!
In 1995, the year Toy Story came out.
Woody.
Yeah, again, this is the movie that really cemented it for me. I don't like Christian Bale in these movies. I really just don't. And it's not entirely his fault. I do think he's a good actor, but I don't like the voice he does for Batman. I think this is also the one where he's like, how does it begin? One of them, he just starts like doing dumbass poses all the time where he's like standing up on a banister and he's like, yeah, like he's doing vampire shit.
You're complaining about Batman doing vampire shit?
Well, but it looks really stupid because they shoot it like it's not supposed to be cool. Like he's like, I don't know. It looks awful. That scene, not the movie. Man, it has the best Gordon for sure. I love this Gordon more than anything that live action has ever done. So that's great. It's just like, it's one of those things where like, this is a really great movie, but for me, it's not a good Batman movie because I don't feel like this is a good representation of Batman. I actually don't even think it's a good representation of the Joker. I think that it's a really great performance and a really great villain, but I don't think that villain is the Joker.
You wouldn't be saying that if you saw Melvin, brother of the Joker, though.
Well, Skyler, stop. You're gonna poison this boy's mind.
Daniel, are you saying this is like the Hollywood Batman?
You said that in the last one.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Like it's not really towards the comics. It's more towards the casual audience.
No. I'll tell you what the Hollywood Batman is. The Hollywood Batman is that scene from Looney Tunes Back in Action, okay?
Thank you!
Where Fraser is chasing Daffy Duck around the place, and he does that big stunt, and he does the crash pad, and he goes, sorry, and Batman's up there going, oh, jeez. He, like, shrugs his shoulders and throws his hands up. That's Hollywood Batman.
I get it now. I got it.
Yeah, so, like, I would still rank this movie extremely high. But this movie has a lot of problems for me where it almost like spawned this era of people making comic book movies in a way that felt like they were embarrassed to be making a comic book movie. And so I don't know. I would still put this in an A. I think it's a really great movie. But yeah, there's so much about this movie where I'm just like, if I have to hear one more fucking dude bro tell me that it's the best movie ever made, I'm going to do a misdemeanor.
Fair enough. I do want to say a warning. If anybody's gonna watch the Dark Knight with me, be aware that I will say every line of the movie.
I believe that.
Yeah, you didn't have to warn me about that. I would have guessed it.
For that reason, I am giving an S. Skyler, you're giving an S. Dan, you said
yeah.
I'd say A. Yeah, A? I mean, I knew it was going in S. Like, I'm not gonna fight you on it.
Okay, Anthony, what about you?
Yeah, I'll give it an S. Why not? I think it is. Daniel, I understand your point of it being overhyped. I think it's as good as people say. So fuck it. I'm gonna say that it's worth it. I will say it is technically. I love the Nolan trilogy. I watch it every year. It's a tradition that my girlfriend and I have. We watch it on Memorial Day for no other reason than that's a free day we have, and it's technically my least favorite of the trilogy. But that doesn't mean that I don't love it, because I do.
Well, but if we put it in S, isn't it higher than where we put? It doesn't matter.
No, Batman Begins was also an S.
It was also an S? I thought we put it in S. I don't know why I thought that.
No, you and I said A,
films are an S.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's just easier that way.
All right. The Dark Knight.
One last thing I want to say about this is that Melvin Brother of the Joker is almost 9 minutes long.
Oh my God.
That's absurd. I can't even believe the bit doesn't last. The bit doesn't last 1 minute.
Skyler, but you know that what do you know about that video? About that 9-minute video?
I know who made it.
Well, it's scripted. It is not improv. It is a scripted video.
Yeah, you're right.
All right, let's move on.
So, if anyone's gonna go out there and watch Melvin Brother and the Joker, just be prepared. It's a bit twisted. It's a bit freaky.
I'm watching it right now.
Don't watch it right now. Wait till after the thing.
No, it's too
And
late.
We'll talk about it in our part 2 of this list.
For sure, for sure. The Dark Knight is an S tier. Woohoo! All right. Now we're gonna talk about the
yippee.
Oh, yippee! Now we're gonna talk about the 2009. Oh boy, it's The Watchmen.
I think this movie kind of gets everything wrong in terms of the book, because obviously Watchmen is one of the greatest graphic novels ever made. It's unadaptable and it's all those things. I don't think this movie gets it, but I like this movie.
Yeah.
I like it as a movie. As Watchmen? Yeah, that's debatable. But as a movie, it might be the only Zack Snyder movie that I genuinely like. So that's something.
I think it's Snyder's best made movie.
Yeah.
Take that for what it's worth. But I also enjoy this movie. There are parts where it's like paint by numbers of like, well, the comic book has this, so we need this shot. And then there's parts where, like you said, it doesn't do things like it's supposed to.
Almost in its entirety. It gets the idea wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
100%. There's just
like
basic concepts.
like it really paints Rorschach as the good guy.
Yeah, exactly.
When,
It was wild, dude.
when you actually read what he's saying on the pages, and you're like, wait a minute,
He's a racist type of
this
guy.
guy fucking sucks.
Yeah.
There is not a good guy on this team.
No,
No.
but
Well, Night Owl.
He's probably the better one.
no, that's the Biggie's fat of this tier list. So move on.
He's the
Go ahead.
roundest. Yeah.
I'll say this: when I saw this movie in theaters, I don't know what I was expecting, but what I just saw was like, man, superheroes can be like this. That's pretty cool.
Do you remember getting the trailer for it for the very
I
first
did.
time?
Yes.
And you're like, what? With the Smashing Pumpkin song? You're like, what
Yes.
is this? That was wild.
Exactly.
Happening.
When I saw the trailer for this before I like read the comic, obviously I was like, this looks fucking stupid. what
Really?
shit is this? Yeah.
I thought it was like something new. I was like, oh, I like it. There's
Well,
a blue
bro,
guy
you-
there.
If you see it in a movie theater, you love everything. So it doesn't-
No, not everything. We went over this. I don't like cats.
yeah, okay.
That's just because you don't like Cats the animal, though.
No, it's because he hates Taylor Swift.
No.
He hates power. He hates successful women.
No. Don't let all the Swifties know, man. I love Taylor Swift.
That's not
but
true.
He has to say that there's guns at his head. He's already said it once.
Watchmen as a movie, as you say, Anthony, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. B minus.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in that same ballpark because I do think it's an enjoyable movie, but at the same time, I'm like, I have no intention of ever probably watching it again.
But I'll give it a B plus.
All right.
Okay. It sounds like it's going in B somewhere.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, Watchmen is a B plus. Now now in the tens. The 2010 Jonah Hex.
Wow. I don't even. Someone else take the lead on this one. I don't even know.
I can't. I didn't know it existed.
Well, you didn't know it existed? You didn't
Nope.
know Josh Brolin played Jonah Hex?
Nope.
With
Wow.
Megan
I
Fox in it,
I did.
and Will Arnett's in like a scene or two.
And I'm looking at the poster of it now, and I'm pretty sure that my eyes would have glazed over this at a Best Buy or whatever, and just assumed it was a Van Helsing sequel.
Hmm.
I
Damn.
mean,
Would've
this is
preferred
a
that,
famously bad
honestly.
movie. Like people hate this movie, it's shit. I've never seen it. I'm just gonna take everyone else's word for it because why bother at this point? I don't. As a fan of the DC universe, I don't think Jonah Hex should be this hard to get. He's just like a scarred up cowboy guy. Just make a movie where a scarred up cowboy guy does shit. Like it's not that hard. So
Well-
knowing that this is like famously one of the worst films ever, that's amazing. Because like, why do you make a Jonah Hex movie in the first place? And two, you fucked it up.
Hey, I
Somewhere
just
along
wanna
the
ask-
line, Hollywood forgot how to make westerns, and this should just be like a cowboy revenge movie, and it's just kind of shit. I would put this wherever we put the second Ghost Rider movie in that tier list.
Let me check.
He's gonna have to
Yeah.
look up the old books. I'm seeing that one Megan J. Fox is in this. She's not a love interest for Josh Brolin, 30 years older than her Brolin, is she?
Yeah, she's a prostitute.
Well, I guess that makes it
In the movie.
I guess that makes it, at least time period accurate. Doesn't make it any more comfortable.
It's fine. Don't you have to be comfortable? It's Jonah Hex.
That's fair.
Ghost Rider,
There's a big cast in this movie. That's crazy.
Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. It's an F.
Damn. All right.
What?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
All right. Hopefully, there's not a lot of Jonah Hex fans out there might be commenting on this, but I apologize.
I think it's safe to say there isn't.
Just like Red and Red 2?
Okay. There's probably more fans of the Jonah Hex 2010 than there are of Red and Red 2.
Okay.
Well, any fans of Red and Red 2 would be too old to know how to comment on this anyway, so.
Although John Malkovich is in both.
Oh. Wow. So F then?
F?
Yeah, F. Put it in F.
All right, Jonah Hex is an F. All right, Anthony, it's your time to shine. It is 2011 Green Lantern.
Go off, King.
Okay, yeah. So obviously, Green Lantern was a bit of a resurgence during the 2000s period. There was definitely an attempt from DC to kind of replace Wonder Woman on the Trinity with Green Lantern. As you can imagine, that did not work in the slightest. So while the comics were thriving, they really tried to get a movie out. And okay, I don't think this movie is like the worst thing ever, but like I think if you see it once, you're good.
Yeah,
Like it's just like the most generic, boring superhero film. Like it's not particularly interesting. It's not very funny. Like there's not a whole lot to dig into it, but I mean, it's a Green Lantern film starring Ryan Reynolds, so you can bet your ass they're gonna make jokes about it till the end of time. When ultimately, Ryan Reynolds has been in worse comic book movies than Green Lantern, like multiple bad comic book movies over Green Lantern. So, I mean,
hey, you know what? That's a good question to have. How come Ryan Reynolds makes fun of Green Lantern and makes fun of X-Men Origins, but he doesn't say shit about Blade Trinity?
Because no one saw Blade Trinity.
I saw Blade
I
Trinity.
saw it.
I saw a TV.
I am Spartacus.
That's really it. It's like Green Lantern was sort of an attempt to start a DC universe. Like, if this had done well, they would have made the Flash movie, potentially. That would have crossed over with this and all of that nonsense. So, like, this was almost a thing. And I'm going to say, thankfully, that it wasn't. I mean, this is so weird. Do you guys know who directed Green Lantern 2011?
Unfortunately, yes, I do. Director of my favorite James Bond movie of all time. It's mind-boggling.
Well, I would say, which one is that? Because he's directed multiple.
Well, yeah, it's true. It's Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
wow.
know what?
Martin
For
Campbell.
the record, he made, in my opinion, the best Daniel Craig James Bond and the best Pierce Brosnan. He made GoldenEye too.
Yeah. So, like,
There was a GoldenEye 2?
You shut your dirty mouth.
It's called Goldfinger. Yeah. So, like, you would think, yeah, like this guy makes good movies, at least like fun adventure action shit, right? No, yeah, Green Lantern is just a horrible, horrible mess. And maybe you could sort of blame it on the studio clashing with people. From what I understand, the director didn't like Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds didn't like the director. Yeah, it's just an unfortunate time. Like I said, it's not funny bad. It's not like, oh, is it as bad as we remember? Could it reserve like some newfound praise? No, but it did set Green Lantern back a long time because obviously we haven't seen the bastard since. He wasn't in any of the Justice League stuff.
No.
He wasn't in any.
There was a green blur in one of the flashbacks. Could have been.
They put so much into Green Lantern here. You know, he had a tie-in, cartoon. He had video games. He had toys. Like, Mattel dedicated so much of their efforts to Green Lantern because they thought, well, this is perfect. Like, this is the ultimate, like, children's toy brand. A guy that can make anything. This will be great. And it failed. So, yeah, it kind of put Green Lantern in, like, movie jail for a very, very long time, to the point we still haven't seen the bastard. Like I said, there's the guy, Yarg Flarg or whatever the fuck in the Justice League movie. Oh, okay. Yeah, we have a picture of Michael Clark Duncan Kilowog in the chat.
Rest in peace,
He's
King.
he's FaceTiming us right now, so that's a bit scary. So when Guy Gardner shows up in Superman, we'll finally get Green Lantern back. But because of this movie, we haven't had him for over a decade, which is a bit of a shame.
I'll say Mark Strong played a great character as
You can't even remember his name.
with an M, Maestro.
Yeah, he's Bradley Cooper's Maestro. Yeah, that's what it was.
That's not fair to say though, Abrar, because like you look at any shitty movie that Mark Strong's in, and you're like, oh, he's pretty good in that. Yeah, it's because Mark Strong's good. They should put him in good movies.
That's
That's
true.
a good idea. Yeah.
All right. Well, in the new James Gunn era, hopefully they make Green Lantern into a TV show. Maybe they'll expand it down more. Maybe that'll be good for this new era.
That's the plan.
Yeah, I think that
Hopefully.
Lantern show has potential.
I just literally today, James Gunn did like a random Green Lantern post on his like socials. So who
Oh,
knows what that means?
all right. Well,
Why is Taika Waititi in this movie?
Oh, well, so he plays Tom, who in the original comics in the Silver Age in the 60s, he was Hal Jordan's like mechanic for his plane. He was an Asian character who was called Pie Face.
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture right now, and they gave him a short round.
Yeah, he's
Uh-oh.
they've changed him in modern comics. He's a very capable and not characterized man. So I guess to avoid any of that stuff, they cast someone of a different sort of nationality and avoided all that. But yes, you're right. Taika Waititi is in the film as Hal Jordan's pal,
Pie face.
Pie Face. We should be
Alright.
saying that.
Ooh.
let's give this. I'm feeling a D.
Yeah, I would
Sure.
agree with that.
Were you a fan of his CGI suit?
Who are you asking that?
Anyone?
No,
No.
Anyone out there, please? Can someone
He-
please tell me? No, I get the concept, but ultimately, no, bad idea.
Alrighty. Green Lantern is a D, and now we're in our last movie in this part one. I forgot to mention this is a part one of this episode. So we're in the last. Yeah, I apologize for those who are listening, but we are in the last movie for this episode, and it is the 2012 The Dark Knight Rises.
End of an era.
Yeah. Big
What a
time.
time. I mean, yeah, this is in 1 year we got the Avengers and then the Dark Knight Rises, and then we also had the Amazing Spider-Man, which feels very weird to put that in with the rest of them because that went nowhere. But I mean, this is a very different movie than I think most people would have expected. I feel like after the Dark Knight, they were like, "Well, make another one, make another The Dark Knight," and they do that in name only. This is like a disaster movie. Like it's not Batman fighting criminals. It's Gotham City like blowing up. So
No.
it's different in that regard, which is kind of like dangerous to do for a Hollywood sequel. Like I said, they probably wanted like, all right, get somebody with a name to play the Riddler. Like get Leo to play the Riddler. And they were like, no, we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to have Bane in a voice that no one likes.
I remember that right after the Dark Knight happened, it was just constant rumors of like who's gonna play the Riddler in the next one for some reason. And like Eddie Murphy was a name that kept getting thrown around.
Oh,
Eddie
Robin
Murphy.
Williams, yeah.
Yeah, like insane names.
Yeah.
And then instead we got Tom Hardy's Bane, who I like Tom Hardy as Bane.
I love Tom Hardy's Bane. I think he's iconic. I think people think it's goofy and silly, and I understand that, but like people remember Bane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great look. Like every single look that he has in that movie, whether it's like the big jacket or completely shirtless or the vest, like he looks awesome.
Yeah, nice camera trickery to make him look like this big behemoth.
He's in fact just a little guy on a little motorcycle.
it's a little
Yeah,
boy.
standing on apple boxes. It's an ending. I'm happy about that. I'm very happy that we finished the series. Like they wanted to end it. They didn't want to like spin off into a bunch of sequels or whatever. And granted, you could still be like, well, what about this? What about doing the John Blake story?
Yeah.
But like they kill off Bruce Wayne for all intents and purposes. They give him a finale. It's one of the few times where a superhero just has a happy ending. You
Yeah.
know, like especially for Batman, who grows old and continues to be like miserable and sad. The idea that like Bruce Wayne gets to like stop and live his life and find love, and Alfred finally gets a W. That's kind of rare for Batman and superheroes in general. So it's like, wow, you actually finished the story. Move over, Cody Rhodes. Bruce Wayne did it first.
Yes, sir.
I do like, even though he thought, he failed and let Bruce die and he's super sad, he did still go on his annual vacation. Like, that wasn't about to stop him.
He'd already bought the ticket. I mean, it was non-returnable.
Alfred needs a day off. If I'm going on vacation, I'm going to go on vacation. I hope Bruce is there so we can have a little drink and he can serve a little smile, but I'm going to go on vacation no matter what.
There he is. He's right over there.
I'm over here. My name is Michael Caine, and my name is here for the stay.
This is. I remember a lot of people when the movie came out, and not people liked it because it was not the Dark Knight level esque. Of course, it was not it, but of course, like you said, it was a good ending to a movie that we all loved, or a series. But I will give this an A. No.
I will say, for me personally, if you stack up the three of this trilogy, it's probably my least favorite of the three.
Yeah.
I think that's most people's opinion. Yeah.
So, but I still like it.
I do too.
Do we have two of the only people on the planet who think that this is not the worst of the three in this panel right now? Because I kind of like this one. I don't mind this one.
Well,
I think it's fun. It's different.
Like, I would put this slightly above Dark Knight even, because I feel like this one is telling more of a story and like has more of an ending. This one I very much enjoy it a lot. I really love everything that Anthony said. Basically, I love all of the fact that he was able to actually get an ending. I love that we got to spend so much time with the supporting cast. I think was unique for these movies. Like we don't get to spend a lot of time in these movies. I think with Alfred or with I guess most of the supporting cast I'm thinking of in this movie wasn't in the previous movie, so they couldn't have done anything. But like, not Robin did a lot. I really liked Selena in this movie. Like there was a lot of actual, I don't know, build up of the universe, which is weird to say in like the last movie in the series. I love that it came full circle from the first one, and that Talia was there, even though I don't think the reveal of her was handled particularly amazingly. Like it just kind of happened. We were like, oh yeah, dude, yeah.
Her death was horrible.
Yeah, we all know.
So that was really dumb, but I don't know. I really like this one actually. I think it's a lot of fun. I love the cops getting to fight back at the end. I love a good you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us New York ass moment.
Just a bunch of people in the streets. Just a whole bunch of people.
Dirty, ratty cops pouring out of the sewers.
Yeah. I like that. I like when people in the sewers pour out. So that's a bonus.
Yeah, that's pretty good. When you put it that way, that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll give it an A+.
All right.
I
think about A is where I would put it.
Okay, Daniel?
No, A+.
A+? Okay. A+ it is.
I would put it on the same tier as the other two, but I'm fine with an A+.
You know what? Fuck it. Like Batman Begins and The Dark Knight are in S. Just put the whole damn Dirty trilogy in S. Go ahead.
All right. You won't. All right.
Twist my arm about it. Why don't you?
The whole, so just like when you're reading it off, say the entire Nolan trilogy is in S, but then an asterisk, and that says like not everybody agreed on anything.
Sure, I'll do that.
All agreed. I think we all agreed that all three of the movies were really good, though.
There you go.
No one was like, "And this movie sucks."
No. There's some flaws, but overall, it's a great movie.
There's flaws with all of them.
I think the biggest flaw for me is that they don't even mention Melvin in this one.
Oh my god!
All right, so I just finished watching Melvin, Brother of the Joker, and I think
there's no way. I refuse to believe that you watched
9 minutes.
it with sound.
9 minutes
because if you watched it with sound while talking to us, you would have gone insane.
I did.
Like Melvin.
like Melvin.
I did, and also like Melvin. Now I'm going to go and beat up the next person who calls for me. So don't call for me.
Did you guys ever watch the Joker blogs when this was like big around the Dark Knight time? Did you guys ever watch that?
Yes.
No.
Those were wild. It was like a fan series back in the day where like it was supposed to be like vlogs from Joker in Arkham. And they introduce as many fucking Batman characters as they can because it's basically a bunch of like film students in college and everything. And like they were really good for the time. I think they got like really big at a point and it gets a little more involved, but like it was pretty good. So I'd recommend if you want to kind of give it like a nostalgic idea of like what it was like to be around the Nolan trilogy while it was happening, go watch the Joker blogs. That's my actual recommendation.
I think it's on
the Joker.
I think it's on YouTube for those who can watch it.
It's all on YouTube. Yeah, all of it.
Yeah. All right. So that is. Oh God. So that is part 1 of the DC tier list. But let me go down what we have graded. So I'm gonna spit these out. V for Vendetta was a yay. Oh man, I didn't even forget about DC Imprints. I forgot to write those down. But let
those
me
are secret letter grades, and we didn't even say.
no, I forgot to do yay or nay. I forgot to type those. Well,
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Just
So weren't important anyway. We hadn't seen like half of them.
Technically, it was all recorded. Someone will hear it.
yes. Superman and the Mole Man was a C plus. Batman was a B plus. Superman was an A plus. Superman 2 was a B plus. Swamp Thing was an F plus. Superman 3 was a C plus. Supergirl was an F. Superman 4, The Quest for Peace, an F plus. The Return of the Swamp Thing was an F. Michael Keaton's Batman was an A. Batman Returns was an A. Batman Mask of the Phantasm was an S. Batman Forever was a B plus. Batman and Robin was a D. Steel was a D. Catwoman an
Did we lose him again? Is another power outage?
Oh no.
We might have lost him. Okay, so since we're in
Watchmen was a
dead,
D.
Oh, he's back.
he just came back in and hot too.
And The Dark Knight Rises was an S. Oh, what? You couldn't hear me?
No, you cut out for like
Cut
a
out.
full 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I said it. It's okay.
Yeah. No, it's
We'll see what happens.
someone
All
else.
it is,
I'm sure
all-
you'll say it again in the next episode.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I will.
all it was you talking. So if it didn't record it, you can just go back in and say that bit again, and you'll be fine.
No,
True.
just leave
No,
it.
You can-
I'll
that's
just leave
fine.
it.
Fuck it. Yeah, fuck it.
But yeah.
But cut this part though.
No.
No. We're all keeping it in.
Oh, no.
But part 2 will come out.
Everything goes in.
Part 2 will be coming out soon, but this is it for this episode. But let me go back to you guys. Anthony, where can they find you, man?
Thank you for asking, my wonderful friend. You can find me at Anthony Lantern on pretty much all socials. You can also find me on YouTube, Anthony Reviews, where Anthony reviews. I've got tons of DC-related stuff on there. So if you want to see videos about Superman toys, Batman toys, Green Lantern toys, definitely check that place out. I also have my own podcast called The Grud, where my friend Kirk and I sort of talk about movies and things that we've experienced. We've recently been going through the X-Men 97 show as it comes out. So if you'd like to hear our thoughts on the X-Men 97 show, what we like, what we don't like, all that stuff, feel free to check it out. And our most recent episode, Kirk went to CinemaCon and he gives all of his details about that wonderful experience there. So please
Yeah.
check it out, The Grud.
Oh,
Very
let me
cool.
lay an Easter egg for you for that one. He tells you what the best popcorn is.
That's true,
He
actually.
has opinions of the best popcorn.
Wow, that's proof that you listen. Thank you. That is that. Yeah, tune in for the popcorn.
Was it Pop Secret?
You have to listen to the show, Skyler.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna-
I'll watch it.
Typical Melvin.
I'll listen to it. Daniel, what about you, man?
You can find me on Twitter at Daniel J. McGee or at my personal YouTube channel, Daniel McGee.
Okay.
Where I haven't
And-
uploaded something in like 2 months because, homie, I'm busy.
Hey, we're all busy here. Skyler, what about you?
You can find me at youtube.com/watch?V equals JMWGNRWBH9A.
I just typed that in and it just took me to the video of Melvin's brother of the Joker. How did you do this?
And that's it for this week.
That's it for this episode. Catch us next time for Tier List Part 2 for DC. And I'll say I am Catwoman and hear me roar.
Meow.
You're gonna say that?
Did you already say it?
I think
Did
I
you
already
just say it
said
again?
Yeah. Okay. So that's
We
it.
still-
That's the outro.
We still live?
I already said
We're still
meow,
live.
I'm not doing it